Well, if it is our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on Hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Thursday, what they call it. Friggin' Thursday. And we couldn't ask to share it with a better group of people. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. How you feeling, Wolves fans? Probably a little tired, a little bit of an overhang, slowing you down. I hear you. I'm convinced they're trying to kill me dead with the way they play at times, Cubby. But they ended up with a win last night. I'm convinced, though, that they're trying to kill me dead.
You haven't had a lot of confidence throughout every game?
Not at all. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be checking in with us at 7:30. And we can dump handies on the Wolves for making it through the Golden State series, but it was trying. No question. Trying. 8:20 this morning, we'll be joined in studio by a local veterinarian, Dr. Andrea Johnston. Oh, God, we've had Dr. Andrea as part of our program for quite a stretch of time now. So keep that in mind for later if you have a question about your beloved house pet. Dr. Andrea can straighten you out one way or another. She hears some stories, I bet.
Oh, yeah. She's told us a couple of doozies over the years, for sure.
She hears some stories.
Over the years. Over the time she's been on.
The 6 months.
Sorry, very tired.
Well, actually, for a second there, I thought, oh, God, how long has it been? Has it been a year? Has it been a year yet?
No. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm no good with time. I bet she hears some stories from clients. I'm interested in asking her about the most destructive pet she's ever heard about, meaning a pet that makes a huge mess when nobody's looking. I know we've all got our stories.
I bet it's a lab. They're just notorious for that.
Text in 651. I know it's early, but text in 651-989-9393 if you've got a good one. When your pet cut loose and destroyed all in its path, everything in its path when you weren't looking. If you got a good one, we can share a couple with Dr. Andrea when she shows up later. I was just reading a couple of stories from the godless internet of destructive pets. Most of it is dogs. My two favorites was a golden retriever who chewed up and swallowed an entire bottle of red food coloring.
Oh, that's so bad.
So as you can imagine,
scary.
Yeah, as you can imagine, the person house sitting this golden retriever thought that it was bleeding to death. It's urinating red. It's defecating red. It's got red all over its face. What's happening here?
Looks like Kill Bill.
Right.
We had a dog that barfed up blood from going through the house and eating everything in sight. That was pretty terrifying. We thought, this is some serious trouble, but the vet said, nah, they're going to be fine. Yeah, we had one particular dog who ate a wooden railing, a stair railing. She ate some drywall right off the wall. She ate...
The appearance of both, delicious.
Oh, yeah, I'm tempted every once in a while. I lick them on my way down the stairs every day. One day I'm going to eat it. She ate some water softener salt.
That's good for you.
That's not good.
She ate the back of a couch. She ate some traveler's checks.
Yeah.
Those are easy to get back.
You just got to wait a little bit, Dana. You wait a little bit, and you check the backyard, and there they are. Yeah, when she was a puppy, she was very destructive.
Yeah, it can happen, so I'm hoping that Dr. Andrea has like an all-timer from all the stories she's heard from her customers, clients, whatever the proper word is.
One of my dogs.
And obviously, like I said, 651-989-9393. We're talking mass destruction. Give us the story where your pet cut loose and destroyed everything in its path. Yes, Ashley.
One of my dogs, he when he was a puppy, or I guess even a little bit older, He likes to chew up expensive things. He doesn't like to chew on things that I don't care about. It was always like Nintendo Switch controllers, my nice heels, things that I really like. Why? It's like he knows that he's chewing up expensive things because he wants to hurt me.
He's a dog of expensive taste. He likes the finer things in life, Ashley.
Honestly, Dana, yeah, he's bougie. That makes sense.
I think all of us here have told stories about dogs we've had where they liked bras or underwear. I had a dog that loved bras, and that's how I found out how expensive those are, Ashley.
Oh,
having
heck
to replace those.
They're
I
not
had no
cheap.
idea. No idea.
I've learned that it's usually those smaller little ones that really like the underwear.
Bras and underwears. Yeah.
This person, this texter says their old lab ate the fenders on a motorcycle.
Ooh. Wow.
See what I mean? Labs. They just don't care.
They're a hilarious crowd, those Labradors.
And they're indestructible. That's what's crazy.
So there you effing go. Yeah, they'll eat up some underwears. They'll eat up your motorcycle.
We had a dog, a shepherd, and we turned our back for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and she ate the majority of a Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, no.
Jumped up on the table, and she had never done anything like that before.
Oh, she was hungry, Josh. Come on.
Apparently so.
The temptation of watching it be made all day.
I guess so.
They'll
One of my
inhale.
dogs recently ate a whole box of, or a container, I should say, of Oreos, and I called the emergency vet thinking, oh no, he's gonna die. All that chocolate, and the vet said, no, there's really no real chocolate in there. Your dog's gonna be fine.
Right.
I knew which one it was because they were mint Oreos, and he had wonderful breath.
For the first time ever, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
One of my dogs, it's like she's trying to kill herself. She'll eat everything. When I'm in the kitchen and I drop something on the floor, sometimes I'm not fast enough. She'll try to eat grapes, onions, chocolate. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to die so bad?
Man, I guess I've gotten lucky. I've had 3 dogs in my life. They've all been just very chill.
Well, did you have them as puppies?
Yeah.
You did? Mm-hmm. I'm surprised. I mean, sometimes it's usually the puppies that go a little nutty. One of my dogs, you mentioned like just eating the food. I have like a 1970s air popcorn maker.
Now we're talking.
And that thing's a mess. I mean, stuff flies everywhere, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I remember when we were kids, when we'd get the Jiffy Pop going. Is that what it's like, Jiffy Pop?
I think so. I can't remember the brand name, but I mean, it's super old.
It sprays popcorn all over the house. You're just lucky to get some of it in the bowl.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way to do it.
Yeah.
But, right, so it's half in, half out. And one of my dogs knows this now, so he just sits there as you're making it and just catches it as it pops out.
He knows it's a sloppy operation.
They love popcorn.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got those stories. I'll just add this to the mix. I can't tell you any personal stories about a terribly destructive dog. I mean, sure, anyone who's owned a dog has had this or that chewed to pieces. But I don't have anything wonderful that I can remember. All I can tell you is, because some of us mentioned our dogs eating human food, all I can tell you is the thirstiest dog I've ever seen was a Cocker Spaniel who had just cleaned out a garage full of homemade beef jerky. That's the thirstiest dog I've ever seen.
I would imagine.
So much salt.
When my pal got home and saw that his Cocker Spaniel had cleaned out a garage full of homemade beef jerky, venison jerky, I should say. Sorry, venison jerky. The dog just looked at him as if to say, please tell me you got a bowl of water around here somewhere. Because I have had a hell of an afternoon here in the... Please tell me you got a bowl of water somewhere.
I had a dog who, we have one of those slide-out garbage cans. It's just like basically a door, right? Or a drawer. Large
A drawer.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, one of those too. And he figured out how to open that.
Yep.
So we had to change the pull on it so he couldn't get his paw on there and open it up.
Dude, same here.
Pretty smart guy.
They can be smart.
God, nothing ruins your day more than you're thinking about going home, just sitting on the couch, and you walk in and the trash has been gotten into. And it's just everywhere.
We put a lock on it for a while, and it was like this little plastic lock, and he was able to chew through that once.
Jeez. You have all these powerful dogs.
Yeah, a couple. They were pretty smart.
Very smart and very strong.
Luckily, I've got a couple of dumb ones now, so they don't cause us any problems.
All right. I was also just reading something that made me think of you, Josh. We were busting Cubby's balls yesterday. I think it was right around this time. Somehow we got on the topic of of the old mid-'90s movie, Mark Wahlberg and his Big Fat D. What the hell was that movie called?
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. We got on the topic yesterday of Boogie Nights. I was busting Josh's balls that he hasn't seen Boogie Nights.
I was too. I told him there's nudity in it.
I mean, not only that, but it's just a really well done, dark movie.
It is a fantastic movie. More than just Heather Graham's boobs.
It's fun, it's interesting, and then it has more or less a terrible, dark ending, and those are the kind of movies I'm drawn to. We were busting Cubby's nuts about specifically Heather Graham naked. We said, hey, dude, you can see Heather Graham naked in this movie, and Josh said, hey, I've seen naked women before, right? I just read something that brought me back to that moment. The subject is, what's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you? Okay, we could get into that if you want. I mean, it's not the most original subject of all time. What's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you? And one of the entries into this article, someone says, I tried going to a strip club once and I knew it wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And they went on to say, it was so boring and I just felt bad for the dancers.
Yeah.
You
Come
feel
on,
the same
man.
way, Ashley?
I guess I was actually just talking about this with my fiance about how when I go to normal female strip clubs, I have a blast. It's some of the happiest place in the world.
You mean a strip joint for men?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say a female strip joint, I'm picturing naked men on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when you go to the gentleman's club, you love it.
Yeah, it's a great time. But the one time that I went to a male strip show, I felt really bad about myself, I guess. Like, I felt like dirty, kind of like a pig. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was objectifying these men. It made me really uncomfortable.
Huh.
Now, that's very interesting, but I thought part of it was the people you went with, if I'm thinking of the same story, the people you went with were disgusting. Yeah. And didn't you leave because it was getting so wild you didn't want to have anything to do with it?
Yeah, it was the after party in the bar after the performance that the male gentleman put on for us. That's when it got weird. And I had to head out of there.
So that's the time? Yeah, I remember you called me and said you had to go, and I thought, you're pretty easygoing, and you'll just go with the flow. But if it was bad enough where you left, it must have been something off.
Yeah, it was really aggressive. I don't really like the aggressiveness about it.
Well, what about the after party?
Was the dancing bear there or something?
What happened at the after party?
Some of the females that I attended the show with were trying to hook up with the male strippers.
Oh,
and it was getting gross.
the strippers came to the after party.
Yeah.
Oh, I was picturing just a bunch of women drinking at a bar.
No, I wish.
After their show was over, the men came down and had a few drinks, and that's when the women really turned the screws on them.
And it was just really, I didn't like the vibe. The vibe was off. It felt
I get it.
creepy.
Okay. All right.
On the list of things you tried once and you realize it's not for you, gambling is number one. And that's one for me, too. And I think it's because my first experience, I walked into a casino for the very first time, and there was a guy crying on the phone saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage.
Oh, yeah,
it
that'll
ruined
do
it. It completely ruined it for me.
The first time you walked in, you saw a grown man crying.
I don't think I was 10 feet in. He's on the phone. There was a payphone by the door at the time. This is how long ago it was. There's a payphone, and he was bawling. And I have so much addiction in my family. I was worried I was going to love it and just be like a gambler with an issue.
That sounds almost like some kind of preordained moment that God put in front of you to remind you this is not your game.
Yeah, because if I get into something, like, I jump in, and because I have an addictive personality, certainly. So I try and avoid things like that. And that was, like you said, maybe that was somebody saying, hey, this really shouldn't be for you. You could be in some trouble.
What did you do that evening? You played some cards, you played some slots.
Blackjack.
And the entire night, you probably couldn't shake the image of this crying grown man on the payphone.
No, and you guys know how...
You still remember it.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget that. And I was 18, you know. You guys... I know I've told you this story before, too. So, and you know how conservative I am. Like, if I'm up, I'm out, because I think, that's great, I'm up. But a buddy of mine, we went in, I think we had $40 each. And...
big money when you're 18.
Oh, yeah. It felt pretty good. You know, we had $40 each. Actually, my friend's dad kind of gave us some of it. And so we go, and we're playing blackjack. All of us are doing bad. He gets down to his last $5, and all of a sudden he goes on a run. And he got up to $300. And I'm thinking, my God, let's go. Dude, what are you doing? We've never even seen this kind of money. And so I'm telling him to stop. Like, I'm telling him to stop. And eventually he got up to $1,000, and I just shut up. Because I thought, well, I guess this guy knows what he's doing. So the first thing he does once he hit $1,000 is he goes to high stakes and lost it in one hand.
That'll happen.
So, I mean, you know, overall he lost $40, but the potential of $1,000 for an 18-year-old kid.
Imagine the damage you guys...
1993.
I could have never done that.
Imagine the damage you guys could have done with that $1,000. What are you addicted to now? You mentioned a minute ago you have an addictive personality. What are you addicted to now?
Boy, good question. I mean, certainly Chipotle.
You would still call that your addiction?
Yeah.
Maybe caffeine. Some days you drink an amount that shocks me.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably one. It's specifically like Mountain Dew products.
How about home renovations?
I wouldn't say it's an addiction. It's something, because this is something.
It's a necessity?
We've been saving up for years. And you know, like, we have some major, well, not anymore. A buddy of mine's basically rebuilt our house. We had some major issues going. Every appliance died to the point where people said, we can't fix this. And by the way, don't buy the same model. This is garbage. I'd say, I don't know, just like computer stuff.
All right.
I tend to like.
Well, that's not going to damage you as much as drugs, alcohol, or gambling, I suppose.
Try and keep it so it's not going to be a life ruiner.
But how about that? On the topic of what's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you, going to the strip joint, it was so boring, and I felt bad for the dancers. Oh, for God's sake, adjust your attitude a little bit.
God, that's too bad for her, how she made $3,000 this weekend.
Right. What a nightmare.
She's driving a nicer car than I've ever seen.
Right, that hourly wage is pretty good.
Gambling never grabbed me.
I love it.
A lot of my friends, oh, God, it's got a hold of them. It grabbed them decades ago and it's still got a grip on them. Gambling just never drew me in. I mean, I don't mind a game of cards now and again. I don't mind throwing some money around.
What about slots?
Never, ever, appealed to me at all.
Yeah, slots never, I mean, some of the, like, basically video game ones are kind of cool. Like, when we go to Wisconsin, right, for our casino trip. Some of those video game ones are sweet.
I enjoy the vibe at a casino. I do. I love the crowd and the lights and the noise and the music. I love the vibe. I just never, I don't know why, I just don't have that in my wiring to play a lot of cards or cardboard cocaine or any. I dig the scene. It's just not my style to sit there for hours and strategize up and down how I could win this game of poker or this. It is what it is.
Hot tubs. Not a fan.
All right,
I was looking forward to that. I thought, this is going to be so much fun. Everybody loves hot tubs, and I didn't like it at all.
You know what? I'm with you, Josh. It's too hot.
Way too hot.
Never enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can maybe pull out like 5 minutes. I can try to fake it. I've tried to like it for other people because it seems like everybody else likes it. But no, I'd rather be in a normal pool.
Never enjoyed it, and I don't understand the draw. That also is included here in this report. Something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you. Hot tubs. All right, the others, running.
Yeah, even if I'm being chased, I couldn't do it anymore.
It takes a while to get into that. I forced myself to.
I could never run. The only time I ever ran in my entire life was when someone said, ready, set, go. You know what I mean? If it was part of a gym class or, what the hell, why would I run?
I only ran one time, and it wasn't even on purpose. It was at Lake Harriet. I grew up a few miles away from there in Minneapolis, and I had, for Christmas, I got 3 giant boxes of Mike and Ike's. You know, those huge movie theater-sized boxes? They're smaller now, but they used to be really big.
Sure.
And I ate 3 of them, and I was so hyped up on sugar, I had to do something. So my intention was just to walk around the lake, but I was so hyped up, I started jogging, and I made it all the way around. I've never even come close to that.
How old of a person were you?
Oh, gosh. Maybe 16?
Did you puke?
No, I thought I was going to, though.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
And so you felt this unbelievable surge of
I was
energy
vibrating.
and had to do something about it?
Yeah.
That's
you know, like,
so much sugar.
I've never had that sensation in my life.
like, you know, like restless leg?
Sure.
That type of thing? Where
But
it
it was
kinda
your whole
hurts
body.
My entire body.
So you like overdosed on candy.
I think I did.
What was going on that you wiped out 3 big fat buckets of, what'd you call it? Mike and Ike's.
So good.
Well,
They're
you didn't
just
watch
so
it a
good.
movie or something?
No, I don't even know what I was. I was in a trance.
Dude, those are hard to quit once you start. I get it.
Cutest overdose ever.
That's
Honestly, I thought I was going to die. I had to get it out.
Well, you have a similar story about caffeine and a road trip.
Oh, yeah, very similar.
Driving,
Pretty
you-
much the same thing.
I've never had that
That was to
sense
stay
yet.
awake, though. That was to stay awake. This was just pure gluttony.
Being a morning person is something that people have tried once and knew it wasn't for them. I hate it. I've hated every single time I've woken up for this show. I've asked myself why I do it. I hate early mornings. I hate waking up in the morning 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Are you one of those people that get crabby about it though? Because
No.
because I hate those kind of people that they wake up. They have to wake up early in the morning, and then they're just insufferable to be around.
No, I would never take that out on other people.
Oh, I hate that. Like, what are you so mad about? You woke up again.
Scuba diving, hot yoga, virtual reality, giving birth.
Yeah.
Listen to this theory.
I don't think that's for anybody.
Listen to this theory on giving birth. I did it once, said a lady. The brain plays the candy corn trick on you, making you forget how bad delivering a baby is until you do it again.
That's what people say.
Oh, you've heard that slogan before, the
Yep.
candy corn trick?
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard that before.
It's funny because people keep asking me how many kids I want now that I'm pregnant with one. And every single time I'm like, I don't know, get back to me, or I'll get back to you after I go through labor. That's kind of the deciding factor.
Okay,
there.
that's going to be what makes the call, is how miserable or wonderful your delivery is?
Yeah, and then...
You're going to get an epidural, right?
Oh, heck yeah. Give me the drug.
What is that? What's
my
that?
sister-in-law decided, no, we're going on natural. We're not going to do any
brave.
drugs. We're going to do one of those bathtub births. And in the middle of it, she changed her mind, and they said, it's too late now.
Oh, no.
No.
Heck no. An epidural, Nick, it's like a huge shot they put in your spine.
Yeah.
And it's basically numbs you.
Okay.
Takes you to La La Land.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's a numbing shot. You can't feel a damn thing down there.
Yeah. I will say, though,
By the way, I can relate to that.
I think something's going on with me, too, but
Yeah,
go
I
on.
can't feel a thing.
I was very, very sick in the beginning of this pregnancy. I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, and it's basically like having the flu all day long.
Oh.
And I always thought, like, all right, I'm going to be one and done because I never want to risk if I go through this again. This is awful. But by now, looking back, I'm like, it wasn't that bad, was it? I don't know.
So now
So you do forget.
it's anybody's guess. Yeah.
That was my experience getting tased, where I did it for a demonstration, and immediately afterwards, there was no pain, no residuals, nothing. And I forgot, and I just decided, all right, do it again, and they did. So now I'm done. After the second one, I don't think I need it again.
You've got some weird stories. You've got some weird stories. Being tased should not be in this conversation of things you tried once and knew it wasn't for you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again. I'd recommend against it if you were ever given the opportunity.
Back to children real quick. Ashley, one of my buddies, has 3 kids. Not all of them are grown yet either. My God, it seems like they should be, but they're not. Not all of them are grown yet. 3 children, and he's not happy about it. He hasn't been happy about hasn't been a happy guy for years.
Poor man.
Poor kids.
When he had
Yeah, true.
Oh, the kids get everything they friggin' want. Those
Yeah,
friggin'
but Dad doesn't like you.
Well, that whatever, you know. How many of us can really say our dads liked us? not many of us. So he was happy with 2. Then he had that third, and everything's been terrible since. So much so that one night we were at a bar, and some mutual friends, how should I say this? People that I was friendly with, but my pal with the 3 children, he did not know them, okay? So I'm standing there with my pal, and here come these people. Hey, I know them. My pal does not. So I'm asking an update on this individual's life who just walked in. How's work? How's your family, right? And my buddy with the 3 kids overhears that this individual has a family. And he says, how many kids you got? Now, remember, this is a complete stranger to my buddy. And the guy that just walked in the bar said, I got 2. My buddy walks up, complete stranger, walks up to this guy, face to face, so close that they're touching noses. After the guy said, I have 2 kids, my buddy walks up so close to his face that they're touching noses. And my buddy says, don't have 3.
They always say that once you're outnumbered, that's trouble.
And this guy that just walked into the bar kind of looked at my pal like, who are you? Why are you getting so close to me? Don't have 3, he said.
I would never forget that moment.
Yeah.
Trying something once and realizing it's not, or trying something realizing it's not for you. Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus said pegging.
Oh, sure.
But it took him 6 times to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to be
After
thorough.
the 6, he decided not.
Skiing, drinking Bloody Marys, helping the Prince of Nigeria. Those all land on this report of something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you.
Hate Bloody Marys. Liquid ketchup.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I tried one once. I don't get it.
Oh, this individual, I never tried, never saw it, never had a Bloody Mary. Somebody here in the article said it tasted like a spicy, disgusting, fluid lasagna. That does not sound appealing at all.
Remember for a while that was like such a trendy thing to get? It'd be like the ribs in the Flintstones, more and more huge things.
Yeah.
You'd have to-
It'd be like a burger and some ribs hanging out.
Yeah.
And wings.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still popular, but for a while it was like a trend. Everybody was drinking that. That's when I tried one and I didn't get it.
That's because the Bloody Mary people know, look, we better do something here. We're going to lose everybody.
I get bullied for not liking them because, I'll go out to breakfast with some drinkers and they'll all get a Bloody Mary, and then I'm over here like, I'll take a screw up, please.
Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the Bloody Mary people. They know they need a rack of ribs and shrimp and a hot dog and 4 pounds of cheese to make their drink interesting. So don't listen to the Bloody Mary people. The last 2 things in this report on something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you, 3 ways, and doing it in the butt.
I wonder what kind of 3-way it was. I bet that matters.
That's a very good point. Because you might hear 3-way and you're thinking, oh, awesome. And then you see the lineup and it's not what you expected.
I'm gonna need to take a look at the lineup before I agree to this.
I had a friend that was kind of in that situation. He and his wife had been married only about 6-7 years at the time. And he had said, she was like, would you ever be interested? Because this is something I've kind of thought about.
She said this to him.
Yeah.
Right.
So he said,
oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't know how interested I'd be in something like that. And she's like, that's weird because most guys would be totally pumped. He's like, I don't know if I could watch another guy have sex with you and stuff. She's like, no, wait a minute. I meant another girl. So he had assumed she wanted to have sex with another guy. He never considered she'd give permission to a second girl.
I'll be damned. All right. You friggin' people, we dig you for hanging with us this morning on the Half-Assed Morning Show. What did I say earlier? Randy Shaver. Oh, and Brad Ryder will be ducking into the mix at 7:30. Then a little bit later, Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital will answer questions about your house pets. We'll take a break here, come back with the stupid news in a few minutes on the program ski.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, if it isn't our wonderful podcast listeners, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
No Contest Wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson with the biggest names in the game.
Ricky Sainz is in the house, everybody. NXT North American Champion, baby.
How you feeling right now, man?
I feel great.
Jay Uso. What's going on, man?
A lot of heavy days, but it's okay, man. It's part of the game.
They know who they are, bro. And you know who I am. TJ, can you tell them where to find us?
Yeah. I mean, why else are we here?
You can always find us No Contest Wrestling. Check us out.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's been a long time since I've been this pissed off.
You're very angry at yourself.
Well, I had a perfectly good pen sitting out here, and now it's gone. It was here a minute ago, now it's gone. And you folks act like you've got a tough job.
I'm gonna help you find it.
It's here a minute ago. You're not going to find it.
I was looking. I'm going to turn my flashlight.
Yeah, Josh has got his flashlight and his camera on right now.
For the listeners, I want you to know that he has another pen. This isn't like the only pen that exists.
I have a backup pen, but I had a perfectly good friggin' pen. It's not in the garbage.
Josh has got his flashlight on.
Thank you, Josh, for helping, but just sit down. There's nothing you can do. Nothing anybody can do. I had a perfectly good friggin' pen, or as my buddy Phil would call it, a perfectly good pin, and now it's just gone in a matter of minutes, and it's ruined what was so far a spirited program.
Should we just call it a day and close up shop?
I feel like closing up your friggin' mouth right now. That's
what did I do?
Yeah, I told you.
It's not your fault, Dana.
He's mad at himself, and he's lashing out. Ashley, have you had any weird pen cravings as a pregnant lady?
No, not yet.
Are you eating ballpoints?
You chewing on friggin' pens? Dana, it's not your fault. But I'm going to lash out.
There's got ink all over my mouth.
It's like the episode of Cops where they're saying these guys are saying, no, we're not huffing spray paint. But they have gold circles around their mouth.
Look like a clown. I found it.
Where was it?
I found it. I had snaked it up my urethra.
Oh.
Yeah, and I forgot.
Duh.
Yeah, I got it.
That's right. You love that pen sounding, that craze.
All right.
You put the Bic in your penis.
Yeah. I received a text message before this pen drama kicked in. I received a text message from a local living legend, and that is wrestling referee Rob Page. And he simply texted this. He said that godforsaken basketball game has a player sleepy this morning. If you could, turn down the acid rock. If you could turn down the acid rock, he says that would be great. All right. No, I get it. It was a late one last night.
I fell asleep, but I woke up at midnight to pee, of course, because that's all I do. And I had to wait. I was too lazy to look at my phone. I didn't want it to fully wake me up. So I had to punch in my fiance next to me. I was like, did the Wolves win? Did the Wolves win? He's like, yeah, of course they did. Oh, okay.
He kind of snapped at you the way I was going after Dana a minute ago.
Yeah.
That is funny that you were too lazy to look at your phone.
Well, you know how
waking up your fiance.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know how it is. If you look at your phone in the middle of the night, sometimes then you'll be up for an hour or two.
Can't you just ask the digital lady on your phone?
No. I don't like talking to her. She's kind of rude.
Sometimes she is.
People are telling me that my pen is now living on Penn Island.
Oh, sure.
All right, on to the stupid news, as they say.
That's a website, is it not? Like 4 pens?
Penn Island?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought we had looked that up.
I don't know.
Yep. Penn Island. Custom pens.
Oh, neat.
Right now, some of you might be thinking that there's been an absence of a certain ornithological piece so far in this week's Stupid News Report. A story of a certain avian variety. And you're right. And we're willing to make up for that right here And now, leading off today's report, a story of a disturbing avian mystery.
Can I see that paper for a sec? Huh. That's odd. I thought that would be big news.
You thought what would be big news?
Well, there seems to be an absence of a certain ornithological piece. A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what?
Brian, don't!
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Assed Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
I would say that might be the finest sitcom episode ever aired on television.
I loved it as well. Yeah. Do you remember the response our old boss had to it?
Yes.
He, for whatever reason, didn't like the bird is the word.
Well, I know the reason.
I think it's because we played it a lot.
No, because he's a moron.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
And he yelled at us one time. He was so mad about what a dumb thing to yell at somebody about. He was so mad about that.
Everybody loved that episode of The Family Guy where the bird was the by God word. Everybody was talking about it. Every radio show, every television show. We loved the audio, played the balls off of it for a few days after that episode first aired. And then buzzkill, no sense of humor, moron, dickhead boss pulls us aside and says, you know, I think you're going a little overboard with the, shut up.
That's the whole point. That's what makes it funny.
Right, exactly.
He was yeah, that's exactly the point. We would do our best to throw in a bird reference and, oh, have you not heard? Do that and play the song.
And it only made us play it more.
Yeah,
Good.
of course.
Family Guy still does callbacks to that till this day. I love it.
They know how good it was.
So starting off today's stupid news, a story of a disturbing avian mystery. In Northern California, in a town by the name of Richmond. And this is apparently a legit news story. Birds are exploding.
It's a mystery. I think that's how we all feel, is it's inexplicable.
Sounded like a firecracker, and a black, I think it was a starling, just plummeted to the ground.
We just want it solved, like at the end of the day.
Yeah, they want it solved. Folks in the neighborhood claim they've found multiple dead birds in their yards or on the street. Security cameras even recorded one bird's terrible violent ending. The bird falls to its death from a power line after a loud pop. The bird exploded like a zit on prom night. That doesn't seem right to me, Josh.
No, an exploding bird?
It does not. I wouldn't believe it if I saw it myself. So cops and such have been trying to sort this out. They've hired some avian experts, and they've gone ahead and performed necropsies. How do you know how to say that, Josh?
No clue.
Necropsies? I don't know.
Boy, I can say it in my head.
It's like an autopsy, but for an animal. All right? They've performed animal autopsies on one or two of the exploded birds. And they say they believe the birds' injuries are consistent with trauma from a pellet gun, BB gun, or a slingshot, not electrocution from power lines. So to me, that sounds like some 15-year-old virgin with their Red Ryder BB gun or whatever is running around the neighborhood popping caps in these poor bastard birds. But at the same time, the investigators aren't 100% certain on all that. They say the injuries are consistent with trauma, but they're not 100% sure. Others in the neighborhood are saying it's the power lines. The birds land on the power lines and they immediately pop. But
that does make sense.
I mean, feathers as far as the eye can see. New guy in the corner puking his. The local gas and electric companies are saying they're not doing anything wrong. They're saying there's nothing different with the power lines. So, don't point the finger at us. So, like the lady said in the audio, it's a friggin' mystery. This bizarre violence, bird death, sudden violent bird death has been going on for several months.
God, that would be traumatic to witness.
Just the popping sound of birds.
Poor birds.
And the locals are tired of hearing that pop and then finding bird carcass, laying all over the yard or draped over the hood of their car.
Yeah, speaking of dog messes, your dog constantly coming home with dead birds that fell from the sky.
That'd get old. And the dog didn't even earn it.
No.
You guys ever had birds crash into your windows at your
Yes,
house?
one time.
We had a house where it happened all the time, to the point where we had to put stickers on the windows to try and tell these birds, hey, this isn't a freeway here.
It's a big stop sign.
Oh, speaking of freeways, you and I both had a bird attack us one time on 94. Remember that?
I don't remember. I don't remember the details.
We were in separate vehicles, both going to our respective homes.
Sure.
Or maybe we were going somewhere else.
This wasn't that long ago.
No, it was just maybe last summer.
Oh, I remember this.
And it came after you, and then you evaded it, and then it came after me. That was a pissed off bird for whatever reason.
What'd you guys do to the bird?
I don't know. I don't know what we did.
Somebody texted in and said that they have a theory that somebody is feeding them Alka-Seltzer.
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that could happen. That's insane.
I don't.
And why do we know that?
I've heard of that since I was a kid, that you feed a pigeon or a seagull Alka-Seltzer, but I don't think they pop.
It says they gruesomely explode.
All right, I don't know. It's something I've heard of since I was a kid, but I don't know.
Now, this is the obvious answer, and you're right. The brother and sisterhood, they know. They're government robot spies, these birds. Birds aren't real, so the batteries are running out, they're overheating, they're self-destructing, and they're
forgot to charge them.
So the mystery continues in this damn neighborhood. Birds that had lived in town for decades have upped and moved out. They don't want to get caught up. They're fearing for their lives. Cats in the neighborhood are laughing their nuts off at all this, I'm sure. Here's a guy that says, did you know that pigeons die after having sex?
I did not.
What?
Yeah, he says, well, the ones that I have sex with do, at least.
Oh, man, I fell for it.
Pigeon guard me. A pigeon guard me.
That's
That's terrible.
That's kind of gross, man.
What's the matter with you? Is there something wrong with you?
I get having sex with a pigeon, but you want it to live afterwards for repeated sex with a pigeon.
All right, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get an update on this. Birds just poof, gone.
Oh, yeah, Tire Guy Jesus said the reason that birds sit on power lines is to recharge their drone batteries. I do love that bit, I gotta say.
Is that maybe one of the stupidest stories that ever cruised around the godless, soulless, evil, and wildly misinformed internet?
Well, the birds aren't real people, they're joking, right? And
so there wasn't a real crowd who believed this?
No, I'm sure there was.
Yeah, I have met somebody that actually believes that birds are robots.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure there absolutely is. I think these people did it to kind of make fun of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And I found out about it because in high school, my daughter wanted a birds aren't real shirt. And she was jokingly trying to convince me she believed it. And I was so confused. I had never heard that before until she brought it up. And then she said there's this organization, and I thought it was legit until I looked into it further, and it was like some college kids or something that were just joking around.
Were you just getting infuriated, her trying to say that birds were robots and explaining to her, no, they're not?
It wasn't infuriated. It was kind of like disappointed.
Yeah, I could see that.
For real?
What did I do wrong here?
All right, some more drama going on in this town and that town. A few days ago, the cops in a town called Edison, New Jersey, came busting in to a massage parlor looking to bust a money laundering operation. And while they're at it, of course, maybe even arrest a few gals who were dishing out illegal hand jobs.
No hand job should be illegal.
I'm with you on that. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I can think of some that should.
There's a few.
Yeah.
It should be illegal once you're no longer in 8th grade.
I was thinking consenting adults. So there are hand jobs that should be illegal.
All right. So the cops bust into a massage parlor. They suspected a money laundering operation was going on in there. And like I said, of course, they suspected that maybe illegal BJs were. After the dust had settled, the police had upped and executed one of the largest busts ever as far as dirty money goes. Hell, they found $750,000 damn dollars in that massage parlor. And yes, there were gals in there apparently dumping illegal rod jobs too, which is hilarious. A couple poor bastards in there. I can picture them, Josh, with their pants around their ankles, and they're thinking, you got to be kidding me. Of all the days for a police raid, it's the same day that I swing in here for a $15 HJ. Right?
Do they do more than that? That's what you always hear of the happy ending at those types of massage parlors.
Well, how much you got?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there's negotiations involved.
So you pay a little more, you can get other things?
Yeah, like anything.
And I'm asking you how much you got. What movie? Vacation.
I can't. Every time I hear stories about massage parlors now, I always think of Reno 911 because the cops tried to bust a massage parlor that was supposedly, doing more than just massages. But the masseuse caught on to him, so she just beat the hell out of the cop on camera. He never came back.
I remember that one.
That's such a classic one.
What's the television show?
Reno 911.
Oh, yeah.
God, I love that
Massage
show.
parlors always make me think of Slapshot and defenseman Mo Wanchuk, who said, why don't you call a massage parlor when the Hanson brothers were going off to jail? So the cute part of the story is that 600 of that 750 grand the cops found on the property, on the massage parlor's property, 600 of that 750 grand was stashed in a giant teddy bear. That was the hiding place for all the illegal monies. Someone had sewn the cash inside a giant teddy bear like you give a 1-year-old on its birthday.
I've got one of those. And
You're
a giant
kidding
bunny.
me.
And a giant sloth.
I'm sorry, you have a giant teddy bear, a giant bunny?
Yep.
And a giant sloth
Yes.
stuffed animal.
I do not touch any of them, though, because no matter how many times I wash them or where I put them, my dog that is not neutered finds a way to get to them and violates them.
Yeah, humps them.
Yep.
So why don't you just throw them away?
Because they're so cute and I love them.
Even though they're
not
covered.
as much as your dog
Well,
does.
because I maybe get like a couple days with them after they're washed. They're nice and fluffy and they smell good, but then he finds a way to attack them.
Well, that's not right.
How many hand jobs do you have to give for $600,000 in cash?
How much you got? That's the answer to that.
It depends how good you are, Adam.
I remember once there was a guy I knew years ago who was talking about his relationship troubles. We were probably in our late 20s. He was talking about troubles he was having in his relationship, and one of the things that he said was, the sex isn't really happening. And I said, well, explain. He said, well, it's mostly hand jobs. And I said, what are you, a 7th grader?
Oh, that sucks.
I said, yeah, and that's all you get? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, that's not right.
No, that's awful.
But because he was such a nice and wonderful person, he tolerated it for as long as he could.
I went on a date, 3-4 years ago, and one of the guy I was on a date with, we were playing pool, and he was like, let's make a bet. I was like, okay, sure. Who wins, whatever, we'll get what. He's like, if I win, you have to give me a hand job. Remember, I just looked at him and I laughed. I said, what am I, 13? He did not appreciate that.
What, are we going to a midnight showing of Back to the Future or something? I mean, am I in junior high again? Come on, dude. Aim high. If we're going to make a bet, aim high.
Yeah. Shoot for the moon, pal.
Let me you should have, your reaction was perfect, but you also could have said, you're a grown man and you want one of those?
What would happen if you won?
I think I said, because I was too caught up with what he said, so I believe it was just, a shot or something like that, something small and stupid.
So did you go along with the game, or did you say, kiss my ass, I'm not playing your stupid
We
game?
We ended up playing pool, but I can't even remember who won because I was like, I'm not doing that.
So
in the parking lot? What's happening here?
Yeah, that is freaking hilarious.
God. He was older than me, too. He was almost 30. What are you doing, dude?
Back to this massage parlor that got broken up in New Jersey. It says here the mayor of New Jersey or whoever's running things, is on a mission to shut down what they call illicit massage parlors, which is a total drag.
Seems like there's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
You know, I know there's rumored to be a couple by me.
Every neighborhood's got to have one.
Isn't there a website that people post about, like, hey, this place will get you what you need if you want to go there for it?
There is. Yeah, we've been texted that before.
Oh, really? Is there a code word?
No, the name is pretty. I don't know if we're allowed to say it or not, but yeah, there's a website that's been texted to us before. I don't know if it's still around.
All right.
Yeah. Josh doesn't know if it's still around.
I legitimately don't. I'm afraid to look. Well, I can look it up. I don't want to do it on my computer. I'll do it on the work computer.
So a website where you can find out what massage parlors will give you a little extra.
Oh, yeah, it's still there.
All right.
Maps is in the...
Oh, okay, yes. I thought that was the title. There's another word before it, but I don't want to say it out loud.
You know, a good pal of mine, his wife would be a prime suspect for this type of a crime that I'm about to tell you about right here. A good pal of mine, his wife would be a prime suspect. Here's the deal. A gal in a place called Lower Allen Township, Pennsylvania, is facing charges after reportedly stealing hundreds of dollars worth of candles from a CVS pharmacy type of joint. I'm sure you're familiar with where I'm going with that. What in God's name is the deal with women and effing candles?
Yeah, I wonder why it's certainly not an exclusive thing to women, but it seems overwhelmingly on that side where women like. I've never owned a candle outside of when I've lived with a woman.
Oh, really?
Never been given one, never bought one outside of birthday candles.
I was absolutely shocked when I met my fiance because I've never seen a man have that many candles. It's like, what do you got going on in here?
Maybe he's a Satan worshiper?
Is this a lavender vanilla candle? What?
Now, my wife has no interest in such things, but like I was saying, a pal of mine, his wife can't go a day without lighting 5-6 different scented candles in the house. I've told you before, the ceilings in their home are soaked in soot from a constant flame burning in their house. So police in that sorry-ass Lower Allen Township or whatever I was telling you about, they say that 2 women stole a total of 51 candles from their neighborhood CVS.
51 candles, and how much did you say they were?
How much were they worth?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that in just a minute. 2 women stole 51 candles from the CV. What, do they fart constantly? What smell are you covering up with 51 candles? You got a dead body in the attic or something? The candles were valued at nearly $1,000.
They're expensive.
They are.
I had a neighbor had a candle party at my house for whatever reason when those were kind of big, late 90s, early 2000s. And she had one of those, and I was shocked how much they could get for one of those candles.
That's actually pretty cheap. It's around like $19-20 a candle.
That doesn't seem cheap to me.
No, I mean, because they the ones that I see are way more expensive, usually in the $30-40 range.
Are you serious?
Yeah, especially if you get those ones that sound like they crackle like a bonfire would.
Oh, I didn't even know they made that.
Those are the best
ones. Those ones are cool, actually.
Yeah, and those can get up to like $60.
Jack Rabbit Jesus, his wife likes scented candles, and he says sometimes she forgets that they're lit. Well, see, now you got to be careful. That's what burned my bro Curtis. That's what burned his house down a number of years ago.
They have these really cool things now. I got a lot of people it for Christmas one year. They're like heating lamps, and so you don't have to light the candle at all. You just put the candle under the heating lamp, and it's safe. There's no open flame, and it does a really good job.
That sounds cool, though, the crackling one.
They're nice. I think they're wood wick.
Yeah, big wood wick. It's like thick, too.
Are they expensive?
Probably.
Yes.
Swamp Stomping Jesus texted in, and he said, when I bought my first house, my dad warned me that women love candles and they'll burn your house down. When Curtis's house burned right down to the friggin' foundation because candles were left lit. And it was terrible. I mean, as you can imagine, it was absolutely terrible. Everything he owned was friggin' gone. My dad stopped over to see Curtis when this happened. And my dad kind of lightened the mood when he walked into the what was left of the frame of the house. And my dad popped a cigarette into his mouth and said, Curtis, mind if I smoke in your house?
Aww. That's great, though. That's good.
Sometimes all you can do is laugh.
Curtis thought it was funny. Curtis's sister did not think it was funny. But it was a touching moment for everybody. Everything was gone. Half man, half immersing. He crawled out of the fire, Josh, because he's a friggin' hero.
That's true.
He made his way.
Fire's not going to take him out. Did he come out unscathed, or did he have any issues?
He and the 4 or 5 women he was with in that bedroom got out of there unscathed.
That's good.
Before we go, we got time for one more, I think. People instantly judging each other on social media. Okay, that old song and dance. Mother of a 3-year-old kid has been slammed by social media because mom gave her 3-year-old boy one of those boob cakes for his birthday. And if you're unfamiliar, it's a big, delicious cake shaped like a fat set of jugs. In this case, the boob cake that was given to the 3-year-old, the boobs are slung nicely into a bra or a bikini top or whatever. It wasn't a naked rack with areolas and the whole works like that.
I made a boob cake once.
Yeah?
Yeah, you guys saw it. It was for one of our former coworkers, Ross, when he retired.
Oh.
Yeah, I made him a boob cake.
I was so busy grinning ear to ear on that day that I didn't really notice what was going on around me.
It was really fun to make.
I'm glad you had fun with it. I had fun with that day. I did.
Different ways.
You had more fun with the next day when he wasn't there.
Oh,
that
God.
was your favorite day.
I danced my way into the... my brother and I were gifted a food cake at our 40th birthday party.
A boob cake?
What did I say?
A food cake.
I'm sorry. My brother and I were gifted a boob cake.
Who made that for you?
One of my ex-girlfriends.
Is that right?
But neither my brother nor I even got a piece of that cake because Wang motorboated it. And,
Come on, Wang.
Yeah.
It'd be tempting.
Gosh.
Wang dove in on that thing like it was his job. So back to this mom. She posted pictures of the cake on stupid Instagram. She got a boob cake for her 3-year-old boy on his birthday. The idiots who hang out on Instagram constantly pounced on the opportunity to tell her that she's doing it all wrong. They told her the cake was inappropriate. A mom by the name of Jeannie, she said lots of people were critical, but not just of the cake, but also because she added this information into the Instagram story. She told the crowd that she still breastfeeds her 3-year-old boy. So is that unusual? I know nothing about these things.
Well, in our case, my wife said she wants to wait until our son says he'd like to be done. So, I mean, it could happen within a year. It could happen 10 years from now. She's giving him that choice.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was going to ask my wife last night, and I forgot. She worked late. I don't remember how old he was when he stopped.
Some moms do that.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, this gal said, I guess the motivation behind getting the boy the boob cake was, she said his 3rd birthday was going to be his last run at breastfeeding.
Oh, that's cute.
So she said, and this part kind of disturbed me, she said, sort of like the Last Supper. That's gross.
She gets her boobs back, though.
So, like, by present...
You're clapping over there.
She gets her boobs back?
Yeah.
They're right back to belonging to only her?
Yes, she's been renting them out.
So this was like, okay, kid, here, look at this big set of boobs, because this is the last time you're going to see them, or at least until you're a grown man, playing around with gals. My boobs are no longer available to you, is the message she was trying to send to her son.
I don't see any issue with this because he's 3 years old. He doesn't look at them as a sexual object yet. Like, he just thinks that's food. So Who cares, right?
Matter of fact, she said, we explained to, meaning she and her husband, Jeannie and her husband, explained to their boy that breastfeeding was over for him, and he was very sad. And he was very vocal, she said. He kept saying he wanted his booba, and that's enough of that.
I heard it's pretty good stuff.
I told you before, I dated a girl who she breastfed until a pretty old age, and she drank breast milk until a little past 6th grade. Her mom would keep pumping.
Please stop.
I heard it tastes like cereal milk.
But now, maybe out of spite, this Jeannie, the mother, maybe out of spite because the social media dorks went after her for breastfeeding her 3-year-old, she has decided now to carry on breastfeeding her son until they're both ready to stop. She said her husband is supportive of the ongoing breastfeeding thing. Something tells me he doesn't have much of a word on the subject. You know what I mean?
Or maybe he's also getting breastfed.
Yeah.
We've heard that from power lifters that have texted in before.
Mm-hmm. You can sell it for a lot of money.
I don't want a lot of money. Not for that. Not for that.
I actually learned going through this whole process that it is really common and very helpful if stuff gets stuck in your boobs. So it's kind of like they call it a clogged duct. That it's really helpful if your significant other helps you clear that out.
Couldn't they? You're saying what? But what you mean is,
yeah,
really?
Oh yeah.
I'm not following this at all.
You don't want to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're better off.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh. You sure you don't want?
There's no other way.
I heard
like the pump doesn't do anything.
That's the best way.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's terrible.
Like he's siphoning gas.
You can't just squeeze. Why
can't you pinch it?
Yeah, why can't you just squeeze them real hard?
Sometimes that's not enough.
Well,
Really?
it's going to have to be enough.
I would assume my wife was messing with me just to see if she could get me to do it.
Yeah. I would think the same thing. What are you? You think I'm a sucker? I'm a fool? I'm going to go ahead with this? No way. Okay, anyway, after all this mess, Jeannie, the breastfeeding mom, says she now wants to be a spokesperson for breastfeeding toddlers. Not so fast, lady. You got to earn that title.
Yeah, get in line.
As if it's a new thing.
I want to be a spokesperson.
She invented it.
All right. All that's disturbing, I guess, to a certain extent, depending on who you are. We got to take a break. We'll check the sports here in a minute.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You know that jerk across the street who's always got it in for me? Every year, that guy waits to see what decorations I put out and then finds a way to top me. I string lights, he strings better lights. I put out Frosty, he puts out an Elf Village. I put out Dracula, he does nothing, and I look like a jackass.
93X. Sports. On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
As Miss Casey Betty has made her appearance, and there you go. The Bat Dog has made her presence felt. It's a numero dos.
All right, this is terrible. I'm guessing this video might have made its way onto 93x.com.
Yes, it has.
Minor league baseball game. One team playing the other. Doesn't matter who they were. The home team's got a bat dog. I think it was a Labrador that would run out and fetch the bats, of course. And the dog took a real keeper. Dog dropped a huge deuce on the ball field while it was out there doing its bat duties. Josh, it reminded me of the gal from Tim Hortons.
Oh, that's so bad.
This was a big...
Sorry you had to think about that.
Big deuce that this dog left on the field, and everyone in the crowd, right? Groundskeeper dude comes out and scooped up this fat dog turd with his damn bare hands.
Do you think he panicked or something? Was in a rush, didn't grab a bag, and he just went for it?
Don't know. I mean, he sort of used the dirt as an aid to push this fat dog turd onto a paper plate or something. But he did not. He used his bare hands.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah, I thought I was losing my mind the first time I saw this video. People
were disturbed by this. New guy in the corner, both at the game and people who are watching the video now online are really disturbed by this and want to know what the hell is going on with this groundskeeper that he would sweep up a dog turd with his bare hands.
I don't get it.
Nobody gets it.
I really think it was one of those things where he was just kind of a mindless thing and realized, what am I doing?
I suppose it's a minor league baseball game. He's hurrying out there. Take your time. Nobody cares.
Nobody's in a rush at a minor league baseball game.
No. Speaking of baseball, the Twins aren't done yet with this winning streak. We'll get into that a little bit later. Of course, the Timberwolves moving on.
Woohoo!
And we'll talk Wolves with Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver a little bit later. So long, Draymond Green, you annoying, obnoxious bastard. So long, Stephon Curry. Didn't miss you at all in this series. Didn't miss you at all. He's also a cone. And Jimmy, what's the last name again?
Butler.
You suck.
He's a calm.
You had zero effect on this series. Why are you why do people make him out to be a big deal? You are not. You're nothing. You suck.
He said he was going to be playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy sucks.
I loved that he was getting booed every time he had the ball last night.
He was not a factor. And this guy, people think highly of this guy. You did nothing in the series, and I'm very excited. Although I'm not entirely happy. I'll express myself a little bit later when we talk to Randy Shaver and Brad Wright. Before we go, we got on the topic earlier of breastfeeding. We did. Breastfeeding. Oh, God. Here's a text message from 6 to Noon Jesus. He said his wife still breastfeeds their 2-year-old daughter. But the wife wants nothing to do with boob play anymore because they're always being used by the baby.
That makes sense, yeah.
So 6 to Noon Jesus has started a group looking to change the way things are, okay, in this department. The group is, they go by the name of FFF. That stands for Fathers for Formula.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, sounds like he misses tuning up the old motorboat.
Yeah, he can't get anywhere near him, Josh, now because there's always a baby hanging off of him. So he's developed organized a group, Fathers for Formula.
That's good.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. We got to take a break. We'll be back with Josh's news report.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, if it isn't our wonderful podcast listeners, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So, why real estate?
We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week.
Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today.
You can buy a quality rental property today.
And build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly.
These are my favorite markets for cash flow.
And build wealth long term.
The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice.
93X.
Nice. It dates back decades. The first one was in 1974. So it starts in the 70s. There's a couple in the 70s. There's multiple in the 80s, multiple in the 90s. And then kind of in the 2000s and 2010s, it drifted off.
Unfortunately, this is not the tale of a legendary rock band with decades of chart-topping hits. This is the story with a guy of decades worth of DUIs. When it comes to being a dumbass, 62-year-old Spencer Blatnick is a seasoned professional. The Ohio man, who already has a long and lagered past, was arrested earlier this month for DWI for the 20th time since 1974. He's very, very bad at driving drunk.
I'll tell you what, that's not a record, though, I bet.
May 2nd at around 12:45 a.m., an officer spotted a white van doing a slow-motion slalom through speed limits. First, it crawled along at a leisurely 15 miles an hour to 25, then suddenly sprinted to the speed limit, only to slow back down to 15 in a 35, which was enough to get him pulled over.
Do you have your license on you? Good.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
What?
How many drinks have you had tonight?
Ma'am?
How many drinks have you had tonight? Because I'm getting a pretty strong smell of alcohol coming.
Ma'am? Blatnick insisted he hadn't had anything to drink that night.
Not a damn thing.
Not a drop. But he couldn't follow the officer's finger during a basic eye test. He was stumbling, swaying, and complained the flashlight was too bright. Finally, he gave up. "Why don't you just take me to jail?" he said. And then, after admitting maybe he did drink that night, he refused sobriety tests and was arrested on the spot. After hitting the grim new milestone, his liver may qualify for historical preservation. As mentioned in the opening clip, his 19 previous DWI arrests stretch back to 1974, with lowlights that include 3 in 1980, 2 in 82, 2 more in 84, a pair in 88, and a smattering of booze-fueled bookings ever since, capped off by his latest arrest this month.
I always like it when a criminal, when they know they're screwed, they try to gain some control over the situation with the classic, "Why don't you just take me to jail?"
Yeah.
I always enjoy that
I
bit.
like that, too.
It's so obvious what they're attempting to do, and usually the cop is, gives them a line like, "Yeah, don't worry, I will."
Yeah, they oblige.
But we're going to do it on my time, not your time. You're not running things around here. Is that a record, Josh? Do you know? Is there anything in there about
the story? Didn't say it was a record in Ohio. I'd imagine it's up there, though. He's a contender.
This friggin' guy.
What are your thoughts when you say, "Go ahead and take me to jail"? Like the cop's going to say, "Hey, buddy, you can't tell me what to do. You're on your way."
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've heard all-time records before for D-Dubs, and I believe it's in the 20s somewhere. So this guy's on his way. And how, at least it's not mentioned in your story, how has he not killed himself or somebody else after over all of these years?
And sadly, think about how many times he's done it and hasn't gotten caught.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way these were the only times. In the wee hours of Tuesday morning, a 33-year-old man was shot in the foot, and Madison police are searching for a suspect. According to authorities, the man showed up at a hospital with a gunshot wound and told officers he was out making a food delivery with a woman about 3:40 a.m., serving up late-night snacks. But then a mysterious sight of shrapnel from out of nowhere occurred. As they were heading back to their vehicle, he heard a loud bang and immediately realized something was afoot, likely because his foot had been shot. Despite the man's sudden case of toe trauma, no arrests have been made, and investigators are still working to piece together exactly what happened.
So he really has no idea where the bullet came from?
No. So they don't know if he was targeted or somebody freaked out because it's 3:40 in the morning, or if it was just a stray bullet. We're trying to understand what happened.
I'll be damned.
An investigation is locked, loaded, and looking for answers after a Los Angeles police officer's personal rifle decided to go off in a courthouse parking garage last week. The Friday incident happened in the lower-level parking structure of the Compton courthouse. The officer was reportedly standing outside his patrol vehicle and, quote, manipulating his personally owned patrol rifle when his weapon accidentally went off, which is a fancy, they have a fancy name in cop speak. They call that a non-tactical, unintentional discharge.
That is very fancy.
Instead of an accidental shooting. Surrounded by concrete, the bullet ricocheted off the ceiling and hit the roof of the officer's patrol vehicle. Fortunately, no one was injured in the ballistic blooper, except perhaps the officer's reputation and a serious wound to his pride. LAPD's Force Investigation Division responded to the scene, and they're the ones investigating that incident.
How do you accidentally fire off a rifle? It seems difficult to do.
No, accidents can happen.
Yeah, I mean, you think a trained professional, but I guess it can happen to anybody. Police responding to a call at a Lowe's parking lot in Louisiana found something they didn't expect to see. A naked man inside a display shed engaged in lewd behavior. Police say a call came in about 5 p.m. Sunday where a witness reported a naked male inside one of the store's outdoor tool storage sheds exposing his tool, hammering away at that thing. Officers arrived and began searching the line of sheds on display. It wasn't until the 4th or 5th shed they found the suspect.
Hiding in there?
No, he's doing more than that. A 34-year-old man lying on his back, pants around his ankles, using an open container of Vaseline and a telephone while masturbating.
Oh, wow.
At least he had the decency to get in the shed.
The Lowe's jacker admitted to his actions, telling officers he was watching YouTube at the time. They have stuff on YouTube you can masturbate to?
Oh, you can masturbate to anything these days, Josh.
Is there, like, dirty stuff on YouTube?
You can find some stuff, yeah.
I don't look for my dirty stuff on YouTube, so I couldn't give you much of an answer. I can tell you this much. The Russian twerk team is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, then maybe there's something there.
Maybe it was you porn, not YouTube. They got it confused.
The cops had it wrong?
Yeah.
He had he had the Vaseline right there with him.
Yeah, and they said it was quite a large jar of it as well.
Vaseline.
Did he bring his own in, or was that Lowe's?
Oh, it's got to be.
Maybe he just grabbed it from Lowe's.
Yeah.
Did he pay for it yet?
Lowe's. I haven't seen the Vaseline aisle at Lowe's, but
Well,
but
they carry
anyway,
a lot of stuff.
that's going back. I want to come up with a term better than old school, but that's all that comes to mind. That's a very old school method. He's an older guy?
He did it say? It didn't. 34.
No, so that I was thinking if you're using Vaseline, maybe you're in your 60s or something.
Yeah, he's kind of mixing the old school, new school, watching the phone and using the Vaseline.
Yeah, exactly. A mix of modern day and old timey type stuff.
I'd want a discount on that shed. I mean, sometimes the ones that are already assembled in the parking lot, you can get a couple of bucks off.
Hell yeah.
Would you buy the wax shed if it was $200 off, Josh?
Heck yeah, that'd be in my negotiations. I just my hand on my chin. All right, you need to knock $200 off. Some guy masturbated in there.
I can smell it.
Throw in that Vaseline and you got a deal. I can smell it? Oh, Ashley.
You're going to be sick.
She means the Vaseline.
Yeah.
I know what you meant.
I hope.
This is why Home Depot went away from their former slogan, "You can do it, we can help." Nobody wanted to be a part of that. Seth Davidson, the 24-year-old cemetery worker in Indiana, was caught Monday night covered in dirt from head to toe after unearthing a grave at a cemetery in a bizarre attempt to retrieve a ring and pawn it.
Was present at the time that the services were going on. The family, at a kind of a last-minute decision, decided they were going to place this ring in with their loved one, and he had been there and observed that, which led him to make the decision to come back and attempt to remove that.
Yeah. An officer with the Fishers Police Department spotted a suspicious vehicle parked nearby and stopped to check it out. Moments later, Davidson emerged from the woods looking like he just crawled out of a grave. Because he had.
He's got to be a drug addict, right?
I would think so. He admitted he worked at the cemetery and had recently buried the urn himself, but the gold ring inside kept haunting him. He told officers he couldn't stop thinking about it and eventually gave in to his inner demons, returning under the cover of night to dig it up. When he noticed police closing in, he stashed the ring behind a dumpster, but they figured it out. Later, he led officers to that hidden ring and the freshly disturbed gravesite, once again telling the cops he just couldn't stop thinking about it.
Precious, must have our precious.
Cemetery officials confirmed Davidson did work there, and only one grave had been tampered with.
How the hell could you do such a thing?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Incredibly, Davidson wasn't the only one digging where he shouldn't. Turns out grave robbing was trending coast to coast. On the opposite side of the country, another intruder was caught mid-shovel, except this one had a tail, patchy fur, and possible rabies. An unsentimental coyote was spotted digging a hole near a grave at a California cemetery on Mother's Day. The apparent hellhound dug roughly a foot into the earth beside a headstone, which was captured by 24-year-old Erin Haley. She was visiting her mother's grave at Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery near San Francisco.
He's not trying to go in a grave. He's literally digging a hole next to a grave.
There's probably building a den right there.
Well, that seems like a weird place to dig a den.
No, you can dig it down and get into the coffin.
You think he's trying to get to the coffin?
One of her kids.
What? Why does this kid know about it?
I don't know. One of her kids, who might need some therapy, chimed in, offering a macabre theory.
Maybe he's hungry.
You think he's trying to eat the dead? That is disturbing.
I love this kid. All right.
He sees the coyote digging and thinks he wants to. Well, maybe he does want to eat a corpse. I don't know. Coyote Dudley managed to claw about a foot into the earth before the animal moved on. Haley, who's been visiting the cemetery for over 2 decades, said she's never seen anything like that. The Archdiocese of San Francisco said the wily coyote was likely not searching for corpses, but instead hunting gophers known to burrow there. in the hills of Holy Cross Cemetery.
I was going to guess maybe that body was buried with a ham sandwich or something like that. Going for golfers.
Yeah, that's what the cemetery said. Well, the cemetery coyote left behind more questions than claw marks. Another coyote encounter was more cartoonish than creepy. 64-year-old Massachusetts woman, a 64-year-old Massachusetts woman, ended up in the hospital Monday night, not because the coyote attacked her, but because it startled her. Around 7:20 p.m., she was out walking her dog when a coyote suddenly appeared. Caught off guard, she fell hard, face first, straight out of a Looney Tunes gag. Fortunately, the coyote never laid a paw on her or her dog, but just to be safe, she was taken to a nearby hospital to get checked out.
The face plant.
Yeah, tried to get away, tripped over the leash or something.
I bet the coyote was laughing at it.
Everyone remembers the greatest face plant they've ever seen in person. I know Josh and I do. I'll never forget it until the day that I die.
So the State Fair one?
State Fair. Lady fell flat on her face, and her mouth was open.
Oh, she forgot she had arms that day.
She didn't fall onto the street. That would have been, of course, even more funny. She fell. She fell onto the dirt, and her mouth was open, and she was moving at a pretty brisk pace. So her jaw acted as like an excavator as she fell onto. She just swallowed 6 or 8 pounds of dirt in the process, and we laughed and laughed and laughed, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget that moment.
Right.
She, to her credit, didn't seem to faze her much. Almost like it happened to her all the time.
You can't act like it phases you. You got to get up.
Mm-hmm. A Kenyan court sentenced 4 men to a year in prison or a $7,700 fine, their choice, for trying to smuggle thousands of live queen ants out of the country in their pants. The 4 suspects, 2 Belgians, 1 from Vietnam, and a Kenyan, were arrested last month.
You got to be brave for that, don't you, Josh?
Oh, I could never do it. I've killed 2 spiders this week, and someday they will write songs about my bravery.
Oh, that's a record for you, I think.
You know what, Josh? I saw 2 spiders this week in my house and completely ignored them because they're not my problem.
Can I admit something?
Yeah.
Both times it was by accident. I thought it was dirt. And then I never would have done it had I known. They were arrested last month with live ants believed to have been destined for collectors in Europe and Asia, particularly interested in queen ants. Mamma mia, let me go. The quartet pleaded guilty to the charges, with the Belgians telling the court they were collecting the highly sought-after ants as a hobby and didn't think it was illegal. Well, it is, and the judge wasn't buying their excuse. Already, the world has lost a number of species due in part to greed like yours. It's time to stem this tide, the judge said, adding this court will do what it can to protect all creatures, great and small. The contraband included giant African harvester ants, which some UK dealers valued up to $220 each. The Belgians were found with 5,000 ants, while the other 2 were found with more than 300 ants packed in over 2,000 test tubes filled with cotton wool to help them survive for months. 3 men have been arrested in Japan for attempting to smuggle thousands of hermit crabs out of the country.
I love hermit crabs.
Those crabs can be worth up to $135 each. And a Harvard University researcher was charged this week with trying to smuggle frog embryos into the country. If convicted, she faces a sentence of up to 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000.
Well, there's just a whole other world out there that we're all mostly unaware of. So they packaged them how? How did they walk with ants?
Like little tubes, test tubes. They just filled them up and put them in their pants.
I'll tell you what.
Set in the 1970s, a getaway driver encounters a tenacious FBI agent who wants to take his crime family down in Duster. You can find Duster on Max, but HBO is changing the name of the popular streaming service, reviving the one they discarded only 2 years ago.
Why are they doing this?
It's weird. It's going to seem familiar. In 2010, HBO called their streaming service HBO Go. 2014, they rebranded the new iteration of the subscription streaming service to HBO Now. In 2020, HBO first added the Max title to become HBO Max as it launched an independent streaming service. Then in 2023, the company announced it would drop the HBO and simply be known as Max. Now, the company is reverting back to the HBO Max name. I wonder if it was just too confusing. People didn't realize the association. I don't know.
It's still confusing.
Yeah, it's weird.
I guess I still have both apps on my phone. So
was kind of funny. I can't remember his title there. Maybe the CEO of HBO was joking around that now he has a bunch of stationery he can go back to. He had all the stationery that said HBO Max, and that was one of the things he was looking forward to. 93X's family reunion is back. Catch Evanescence with special guests Poppy, Black Map, and Dorothy on Friday, September 19th at the X. The presale starts this morning at 10 a.m., going through 10 p.m. Go to 93x.com and use the code 93xFamily to buy early. But we can hook you up for free right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line. Text DARK, D-A-R-K, DARK, to the 651-989-9393 number. That's for your shot at free tickets. Again, that word is DARK, and you want to text 651-989-9393. And then listen all weekend for chances to win premium seats and qualify for the Evanescence VIP Soundcheck Party. Dancing with the Stars winner Emmitt Smith, who the internet also claims played for the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL, is 56. Shout out to Ranch Wilder from 80s Metal Jesus. Happy 18th to Dale from Dad, way out of my league, Jesus. Happy 50th to the president of the Staples, Minnesota Brotherhood chapter. Happy birthday to Audi Parts Jesus from Checkmate Model X Jesus. And happy birthday to you, Reference Jesus. That's 93X News.
Randy Shaver is a big humper, literally humping everyone. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Minnesota lost in 5 to the Mavericks last year in the conference finals. They're going to get another bite at the apple. That's a ball game. Minnesota is moving on. A 121-110 victory in Game 5, and they take out the Golden State Warriors and advance to the conference finals.
How does it feel to be moving on?
Feels great, man. We're working hard, doing all the right things right now. Job's not done, obviously. We'll wait to see what we play, but celebrate tonight and get ready for the next round.
A lot of people didn't think we was going to make it back here, man. So not just about getting back here. We got to be ready to compete this time, so we should be ready.
Message to the fans?
They was dope. They was everything that we needed, man.
Mm-hmm. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder joining us on the telephone. Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Brad, speaking of the telephone, did you get any calls this time yesterday?
This time, no, I did not.
I believe he gets one phone call, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but yesterday at this time, we were just joking around, and we said the reason you weren't able to join us is because you had been arrested.
Oh.
No one cared enough to call you on the telephone?
No, I guess not. That's disappointing. That's kind of disappointing.
We got to work on our sarcasm.
Maybe that says more about us than you.
No, I think people just heard and they're like, "Oh, Brad, lewd conduct. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't need to check in on him. I'm done with him."
It's all in the delivery, I guess.
You know what? Now that you mentioned it, I did get a few weird looks from a couple parents yesterday at their softball game.
We were joking around and we said you were placed under arrest and.
A couple of the parents that listen to the show regularly were looking at me a little weird yesterday.
All right, cool. All right. So I guess we accomplished something with that gimmick. For the second consecutive season, my beloved Timberwolves will be playing in the Western Conference Final. They ridded themselves of the obnoxious Golden State Warriors last night, winning by 11. They should have been winning by at least 25 if they hadn't turned the ball over 27 times or whatever the hell was going on last night.
Right.
Sometimes I think Wolves wins anger you more than Wolves losses, Nick.
It's all the same. It really is all the same.
I didn't watch. I told Dana this off. I didn't watch. I didn't watch the game. I'm like, they're going to win by a lot, and it's not worth it. And I'll pick it up when we come back for the next series. That's fine. So I'll admit I didn't watch a minute.
Well, you missed a lot of turnovers. But congratulations to the Wolves. They clinched a series at home. They hadn't done that since the KG days, if I'm not mistaken.
Game 7 against the Kings.
Way back in the KG days. They won 4 straight in the series after dumping Game 1. They avoided dealing with Stephen Curry. Right. And they proved that Jimmy Butler isn't nearly the ball player he wants everyone to believe he is.
Well, he's not a lead guy. I mean, he's a nice complimentary piece. But
he was garbage in this series.
I wouldn't even say he was a nice complimentary piece last night. I didn't think he played with a lot of enthusiasm, and he just didn't. It felt like he was just going through the motions.
Yeah, he didn't play with any enthusiasm beyond Game 1, Randy Shaver.
Well, I thought in Game 4 when he
stumbled
like 30,
into a couple of
whatever,
buckets.
He played harder then. And like I said the other day, they threw everything at the Wolves in that game, and they still lost. And I think they gave it a great effort last night, but there was no way they were going to win that game last night. No way.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty.
Nothing about this series was slick or beautiful.
Well, to your point, I mean, you turn the ball over 20 times, over 20 times, and they still win by 10. Okay, but you cannot do that if you're playing Oklahoma City.
Yep.
I was losing my effing mind last night watching the grade school level turnovers that the Wolves were committing. They came out unprepared in the fourth quarter and looked god-awful, but they got the 4 wins necessary to move on, and now it's time to go work and prepare.
It's going to be fun to see who they play next because, I mean, OKC obviously in the driver's seat tonight. If they win tonight in Denver, it's over, and I'm sure the amount of rest that they get will balance itself, and they'll start when the Eastern Conference starts or somewhere in that range. But, I mean, if Denver can find a way to win that game tonight and send it to 7 games, the Wolves will get a chance to sit and rest a little bit. And I really think Denver's got a great chance to win that game tonight. And if it goes to 7 games, if I'm an OKC fan, I'm concerned if it goes to 7 games because Denver's got that pedigree. They've been there before.
Right.
Yeah, they're not the team that they have been in the past, but I would not want to play them in 7 games. I would not want to play Jokic in 7 games.
Thunder Nuggets.
If I were the Wolves, I would rather play Denver, though.
Of course.
For sure.
They've handled
I totally
Denver.
Agree with that.
They've handled Denver the last 5, 6, 7 times they've played. Thunder Nugget Game 6 tonight. Yeah, if a Game 7 is forced, the Wolves will be looking at 5 days off. I don't know. Some would say that's great. Some would say that's not so great. Julius Randle was the best player in the series against Golden State. He scored 29 points last night on 13 for 18 shooting. Rudy Gobert had a nice game last night. Mike Conley Jr. saved him from disaster once or twice. The Wolves shot 77% on 2-point baskets. Overall, 62.8%. They set franchise postseason records for assists and field goal percentage. So, like I said, if they hadn't been turning the ball over like they were high, they would have won this game by 25, 30 points.
Yep.
How about the back-to-back turnovers by Edwards because he's dribbling between his legs while he's being...
I know.
What are we doing? How about, really, honestly, I mean, it goes to show that there are little things in a ball game that prove that, you know, some of these guys, it shows that they haven't been in these big situations too often. How about when what was the team they played last night?
The Golden State Warriors?
How about when Golden State misses a jump shot, the ball is rolling out of bounds. Just let it go out of bounds. But friggin', I love him, don't get me wrong. Mick, go ahead.
Jagger.
Mick Daniels decides to grab the basketball and he steps out of bounds. No one around him. Just let the ball go. I'm telling you, there were some moments last night that were it was bewildering,
right.
Which is just evidence that, you know, these guys are still new to this, but it doesn't matter. They got that for 4th win. So now Golden State can F off, hopefully for good. Hopefully for friggin' good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a lot to figure out. I mean, you're paying 3 guys a ton of money, and yeah, you played a lot of guys during the course of the year, but what did you really find out about those guys, especially in the crunch time of the playoffs here? Who can you rely on? Who can you afford? You know, I think Golden State's got a lot to figure out. Not that it matters to the Wolves. It doesn't. They're set. And the next series is going to be a great series, regardless of who they play. It's just going to be a lights-out great series.
I think it'll be very different than what we just got done watching.
Oh, it better be.
Sure.
It better be different.
It better be different for Wolves fans, or they will be the ones going home in 5 games.
Right. The Wolves were not great in this series. They were good enough. And again, let's give credit to the Warriors' defense. Caused a lot of problems for the Wolves. I think no matter who they play in the Western Conference Final, we're going to see a lot more 125 to 120 type games as opposed to some of this ugliness that we saw.
I would say if you play Denver, you'll see that. I'm not so sure if you play OKC that you'll see that. OKC is a very good defensive team. I'm not so sure that you're going to see the high-scoring games that you saw. I thought Golden State's defense last night was not very good. I just think that they –
well, yeah.
When the Wolves went on that 17-5 spurt at the end of the first half, it kind of put the game away in a lot of ways. You know, yeah, Golden State made a little bit of a run. They got themselves back in, but they just did not have enough. And they did not play good enough defense. I mean, the Wolves were driving to the basket. There's a reason why you're shooting 77% from the two-point line. You're driving for layups every time.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State just ran out of gas. They just could not. They could not defend the Wolves when they really needed to. In the last 4 games, they could not defend them.
A lot of folks have been texting in this message the last couple of days. Here's one from Medical Device Jesus, but he's one of many who have texted in this message. Jimmy Butler once claimed he could beat the Wolves with a bench lineup. I guess not, bitch.
I love that energy.
Here's a call.
Shaquille O'Neal called Rudy Gobert Rudy Abdul-Gobert last night on television.
Abdul-Gobert.
Everyone picks on Rudy.
We changed his name.
I was not aware of that.
Rudy Abdul-Gobert.
And again, I used to like Shaq until I found out that he would stick teammates' toothbrushes up his bottom and then put them back in his teammates' locker.
It's taking things a little far.
I used to like Shaq. Yeah. I can't like him anymore. The Boston Celtics are still alive. They whooped New York at home last night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, so they'll play a game 6.
That's a scary thing for the Knicks. I'm sorry. Tatum's a great player, no doubt. But, man, I tell you, Boston, you talk about a team that was focused to win last night. I mean, they were focused. And if they play that way again, I think the Knicks could be in trouble.
The Knicks have to treat Game 6 like Game 7.
Yeah,
they're going home for it. So
I am concerned. I'm concerned because Boston is, and they did it without Porzingis. I mean, Porzingis played terrible in the first half and didn't even play in the second half.
Somebody said he caught the bird flu or something. He hasn't been right for like a.
And maybe that's part of it too. But man, Cornette was just lights out last night.
Jim Cornette, the old WWE.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites.
It was amazing. Yeah. He grew like about 2 feet.
Yeah.
He just hasn't aged either.
It's a New York-Boston series, so, vomit buckets are being filled all over America in a New York-Boston playoff series. Well, I hate the Boston Celtics, but at the same time, it will be kind of fun to watch the Knicks just completely their pants on this one. That might be kind of fun, too.
The Knicks have not made the Eastern Final in 25 years, and how crazy would it be if they make the Eastern Final, the Wolves make the Western Final, and they both win, and end up playing in the finals after making the trade that they made.
Right.
I mean, that would be absolutely bizarre and crazy.
That would be hilarious. And that's what's...
If you throw these conspiracy theories out about what does the league want? What does the league want for the championship or the final?
They want the Knicks.
They want the Knicks and the Wolves. I will tell you that.
That would be fun. That's the one thing that's pushing me towards, okay, let's have the Knickerbockers get through this one. Because to see Wolves, Knicks in the final with Carl and Randall and DiVincenzo, and that would be fun.
I just think player to player right now, though, OKC to me is the best. And they had a great regular season. They won a ton of games. They did it without Chet Holmgren for a while. He was hurt for a long time. They're just so deep, and they're so athletic and so good. It's going to be a hell of a series for the Wolves. I don't know if the Wolves have enough firepower consistently to stay with them, but we'll find out.
Oklahoma City, you're talking about? Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah. We're talking about OKC.
They're very good.
You're talking about their bench specifically. I think what the Wolves need in that series is those three guys that the Wolves bring off the bench. They need to match what OKC is bringing off the bench, and I think that's going to be I think you're right. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge because the starting lineups, player for player, they could probably they'll match up fine, but when they go to their bench, OKC's a little bit deeper, and Reed and even Senjo and Walker, they've got to be able to match that, and I don't think they did necessarily in the last series, but they didn't have to.
Yeah.
We got a real oddity happening here. What's the curly-haired kid for Golden State with the black guy? Pajemski. We got a listener here from Wisconsin. What's that?
I hate him.
You hate him.
I hate his face.
She hates his face. We got a listener here texting in from Wisconsin. He wants an apology from you, Randy Shaver, because you said that Pajemski guy sucks a few days ago. You said that he sucks.
A few nights ago.
And this guy's like, he was 2 games ago, he was 4 for 9. Last night he scored 30. So this guy from Wisconsin wants an apology from you because you said that Pajemski sucks, and he says the kid doesn't suck.
I thought about that every single time he's made a basket.
This guy's texting in over and over again. Hey, what about this Pajemski? He scored 29. Why doesn't Randy say? So, Randy, do you have anything to say about this Pajemski?
He certainly played much better last night, but overall in the series, turns the ball over way too much, and they put a lot on him too. I mean, in his defense, there was a lot put on him once Curry left the lineup. They don't have a point guard other than Curry.
I want to take the heat for you, Randy Shaver. That kid sucks.
But, I mean, last night he did play well enough to keep them in the ballgame for a while.
Oh, sure he did. Okay, fine. Like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, Hopkins is changing the name of their town to Paige Beckers to pay tribute to her first WNBA game. Tomorrow is that day. Entrance signs on Excelsior Boulevard and Highway 7 will be changed to show the new town name. The city will also change street signs along Main Street to Beckers Boulevard. She's playing in her first regular season game with a team called the Dallas Wings, and they're playing the Minnesota Lynx tomorrow night, 6:30, if that matters to you, in Dallas.
Wild fans are mad at her right now online.
Why is that?
Because of her cheering for the Dallas Stars.
Oh, she had a jersey on.
Yeah, she's like,
well, maybe she never gave 2 pumps about hockey.
Yeah, somebody reposted it and said that she was. I know, but somebody reposted it and said she's never allowed back in Minnesota again.
Oh, come on.
Hopkins City leaders who are stressed, I would imagine, day in, day out. Wouldn't you be stressed if you were a Hopkins City leader, Josh?
Yeah, I think so.
Just every day you're like, what's next?
There's reason to be.
Yeah. I lived there for a while. It's not right. The vibe is all off in Hopkins. It always has been.
Oh, my God.
Hopkins City leaders will hold a ribbon-cutting event tomorrow morning to celebrate the name change of their... Tomorrow it won't be Hopkins. It'll be called Paige Becker.
Shouldn't they have done this maybe when she was in town to play the Lynx?
I was just going to say, why didn't they do this when she was in town playing the Lynx so she could be there?
Playing the Lynx? I thought she hasn't been in the league yet.
No, I mean, this season, I'm sure Dallas is going to play the Lynx in Minnesota at some point.
I wonder if Lynx fans would be upset, like, hey, you should be cheering for the Lynx on that day.
That's a good point, Josh.
I'm sure that was something.
Good grief. People got to just chill out about that.
When is...
Are you saying people are oversensitive these days? Show me one example.
Not on the internet, at least.
Just a tad.
Call me when it's Angel Reese Day.
We're already getting texts from people that aren't...
Every day is Angel Reese Day.
Did you get her meal that I think it was Burger King and McDonald's? They had an Angel Reese meal. Did you
I got in the car right now. People are texting in what?
There's some people that aren't happy that tax dollars are going into this. See, everything's controversial.
What?
Oh, for God's sake. Jesus God.
How many tax dollars go into...
signs and whatnot?
God, get over it.
Maybe they got a guy.
They got a sign guy?
Yeah, maybe they don't have
People need to worry about other things.
They got a guy who gives them a good deal.
We can't do something nice for a young kid that made it big in the...
Come on.
I don't know what anyone's thinking anymore. All I know is that Pajemski guy blows.
Well, we won't have
the other thing about
for 6 months, so...
The other thing about that Angel Reese meal at McDonald's, it doesn't go down the first time. It takes a couple of times to go down.
Brad taking a cheap shot at a 22-year-old woman.
She had her own meal at McDonald's or Burger King?
Yep.
I missed that. I would have gone out and got the
Did
Angel
they have it here?
Yes.
The Angel Reese sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember what one it was.
I bought the Puck Pack. I bought the new 32. I bought all those gimmicky meals back in the day.
Yeah, it was McDonald's. Yeah, it was a barbecue bacon quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh, I'd mess around with that.
A lot of folks remember the Puck Pack. Kirby Puckett had his own.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for, Josh?
His own meal?
Personalized meal.
Yeah.
At McDonald's, I believe it was a big old cheeseburger and some fries, and they wrapped it up with some kind of a sundae. But do you remember the new 32, anyone?
The new 32?
I don't.
No.
Christian Laettner had his own sandwich at McDonald's when he joined the Timberwolves, and they called it the new 32. If I remember right, I think it was kind of like a California. Did they call it a California burger, Josh?
Is that what it was? Yeah, I'm not sure.
But is that the right name?
There is a California burger.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, I think it kind of reminded me of a California burger, even though, what's his name, Laettner was from Canada or something. But I remember Laettner had his own sandwich, yeah.
Wally Zerbiak had his own Chevy Trailblazer. He had like a limited edition locally.
I remember that.
Do you remember Kirby Puckett candy bars? The Kirby Puckett bars?
Yeah.
We used for fundraisers, we'd sell those outside the Egan Rainbow Foods.
I wonder how many Kirby could go through.
Oh, they were good too.
Didn't he notoriously love candy?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got a story about that. So I crossed over a little bit when he was still working in the front office there, and so you go up to his office at the Metrodome, and he'd have a desk drawer, literally a desk drawer, top left desk drawer full of candy, and whenever you walked in his office, he'd open it up and say, "Come get some."
Yeah.
Hell yeah, love that.
That's kind of my style now. I can't get enough candy. Josh knows this. If you leave candy around me.
Oh, I know what you'll do.
I will chomp it up.
Jiu-Jitsu Jesus can't believe that McDonald's never made a Flurry McFlurry. Yeah, maybe they can if he comes back in an ambassador role.
They should have done that. Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our listeners went and got the Pajemski meal. He did.
What is that?
You know what?
What consists of that meal?
You know what they handed him when he said, "I'll take the Pajemski"? they handed him a bag of bricks.
I'll try anything twice, Jesus.
Well, that fits.
He got that Angel Reese burger from McDonald's. He said the hamburger, it's topped with envy and it's quite bitter.
We got Puck Pack fans texted in.
I got the Puck Pack.
A listener says the Puck Pack was life-changing. It was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I just placed a bid on eBay for the Kirby Puckett unopened energy bar.
Wow.
How much did you...
Energy bar?
Well, yeah, that's what they call it. They call it the Kirby Puckett bar, a bundle of energy.
Oh.
The current bid is $12.99.
We'll split it. I'll split it with you.
Yeah.
You have a bundle of something else when you're eating that 20 years later.
There's an unopened Puckett bar right now online.
On eBay, yep.
That's been around for 40 years.
I'm going to outbid you right now.
That's friggin' hilarious.
What in the world?
You're going to outbid him?
Yeah, right now.
That's hilarious.
Whoever is top bidder, I'll split it with you.
Sounds good.
I'm highest bidder.
So good.
From Weird Al's cover or parody of the song. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about.
It has a quote from him on the back.
What did Kirby say?
Get into the swing of things. Stay in school.
Stay in school? That's stupid.
I also remember the Puckett poster that every kid had my age. It said something like, something about, I'm down to smoke fastballs. Smoking cigarettes, I got a problem with.
If we're looking at the same candy bar, it's a little sketchy because it looks like it's been opened.
I think someone wrapped up a turd. Yeah.
There's a little bit of like chocolate remnants on the outside.
On the back, actually, under like the fine print, it looks like there's some turd residue on there.
It does.
I mean, people are texting in on all their favorite personalized meals. I don't recall this. Bert Blyleven had his own cheeseburger at Wendy's years ago.
I don't remember that.
I used to love those Reggie
Kent Herbeck had a burger. Yes, Brad Ryder, what?
Remember those the Reggie bars?
Yeah.
Reggie Jack. Those were good.
Yeah, the Reggie bar was a good one.
Yeah. You can find those on Amazon yet, too.
Now, speaking of all this delicious fast food, a dude out there in Wisconsin, he just ran what he calls a Culver's Marathon Challenge. Or maybe this is... Randy, you got
from Culver's to Culver's.
When I'm done with this, tell us more about Culver's and how folks can donate to your charity. Maybe this is a widely known thing. I don't know. But the dude ran something called a Culver's Marathon Challenge. He went running from Culver's restaurant to Culver's restaurant, and every time he hit one of the joints, he would eat a bucket of cheese curds and a concrete mixer and then start running again.
Oh, my God.
By the time he was done...
The diarrhea.
Now, he only hit 5 different stops. You know, there's only so many Culvers, that you can... by the time he was done, he had run a 26.2 marathon. A 26.2-mile marathon. 5 different stops. So he ran
that's where they're based, right? Culver's?
Yep.
Yeah.
He ran a marathon, and on 5 different stops, he had cheese curds and a damn concrete mixer.
It's impressive.
And I watched the video, edited version of his video. He never sounded terribly sick. I mean, I think in one clip he said his stomach was cramping a little bit.
That's what I would think.
You think?
I would think normally that would lock you up, but yeah, all that running.
Yeah.
Well, but what I would think is that he would vomit and feel terrible. He never gave that impression, at least in the video.
He does look like he's in very good shape.
I don't care how good a shape you're in if you pile that into your guts and you're running at the same... Anyway.
He could have picked other things, too. Why did he go with the
I
two
think
things
because
that are going to make you sick?
Those are the classic...
it's like the staples.
Those are the signature snacks over there. So, again, 26.2 miles running, 5 different stops at Culver's, and each stop he had cheese curds and a concrete mixer. This guy, this is his thing. His name is Clay. He runs some kind of a YouTube page called Far-Fetched Fitness. And at one point, this is something he's already accomplished before he did the Culver's thing, he ran an ultra marathon. Now, that is 31.1 miles. Wow. And he did that in a roundabout.
Oh, my God. Let's just watch that video.
I think I've seen people drive like that. They can't figure those things out.
Yeah.
Round and round.
I had trouble the first time.
Hey, kids, Big Ben.
It's about right.
So, yeah, he's tougher than most that he could rip down cheese curds and a sundae over and over again while running.
Seems to me we've talked about this before with...
We have, yeah.
Running from Culver's to Culver's.
Oh, I apologize. I don't recall covering this before.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know if it's the same guy, but people have done this before. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Twins aren't done with that winning streak just yet. That's 10 in a row now.
It's just crazy how good this division is. They can't get out of 4th place.
Right.
They've won 10 in a row, and they can't get out of 4th place.
Yeah. They smooth swept yesterday's doubleheader in Baltimore. They were launching clutch dongs. They came from behind in both ball games, made some great plays in the field. And yesterday's finale, with the boys down a run in the 8th, Cody Clemens hit a 3-run shot. So they win game 1, 6-3. They win game 2, 8-6. They're the only team in big league baseball so far to win 10 straight.
They're still 5.5 back, like we said.
Yep.
They look like they're having fun, lots of fun. Rocco, so suddenly Rocco isn't the biggest moron in town, you know.
Funny how that changes once guys start getting hits.
They're wrapping up in Maryland with an 11:30 game this morning. Chris Paddock starts with the Twins. So, I mean, just nothing but laughs for the Twins.
11:30. I love that start.
And Baltimore's been so bad. I mean, this is a team that just a couple of years ago was winning over 100 games. And, I mean, they just can't find anything to work for them right now. Their pitching is bad. They're hitting. They can't find timely hits. I mean, I think they're like 15 games under 500. They're just struggling.
They only got one more win than the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, when you say that, you know you're struggling. Yeah,
that's not
crazy.
A compliment to have one more win than the White Sox.
No.
Dana, a listener is claiming that he's currently, along with Ashley, trying to outbid you on that Kirby Puckett candy bar.
That's funny. I love spite bids.
Yeah. Can you give us an update when you get a chance?
Well, so the opening bid was $12.99, but they say you can make an offer to or best offer. So I offered the guy $15 for it. I'm waiting to see what his response is.
We got one listener saying,
offer declined. Dang it!
Offer declined because our listener made a better offer. And again, this is like, what, a 40-year-old candy bar? A 40-year-old Kirby Puckett candy bar?
I sold them in second grade, so like probably 92, 93, something like
not
that.
that old, but getting there.
Yeah, you know the guy's seeing all the action right now from those that are spike bidding. So why would he give it to you for $14?
This guy's going to make a fortune.
No one's bid on that thing for 3 weeks. he wakes up this morning at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
That's funny.
People are telling us that Pooh Richardson had his own burger at Hardee's. It was called the Big Pooh. I don't remember.
You think that's happened? I don't know.
Not called the Big Pooh.
I took an unfortunate sip of Mountain Dew right there. That was almost awful.
They said it was sold at Hardee's. It was called the Big Pooh, and it was in tribute to. You don't think so?
No marketer ever thinks that's a great idea. Not. Oh, my God.
It was a keeper, they say.
I'd love to see that commercial.
Is there really a Taco Bell marathon? Probably.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
A listener texted in about a Taco Bell marathon. I don't know.
There's so many Taco Bells around, you'd have to hit a lot of them.
Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers.
Yes. It's international.
International.
It says there is a 7th annual International Taco Bell Marathon.
There's also an
what
ultra
do you do?
marathon.
What do you do? Got to eat a taco every time you stop by?
I'm looking here.
Okay. Edmonton Oilers are going to play for the Clarence Campbell Trophy for the second straight year. They still play for the Clarence Campbell Trophy, do they not? Or am I missing something? Anyway, Edmonton ended the Golden Knights season with a 1-0 overtime win last night, so they win the series in 5. In a tied series, the Toronto Maple Leafs had home ice last night with a chance to take control of their matchup with the Florida Panthers. Instead, Florida gave the Leafs just a shot to the pills. The Panthers won 6-1 on the road in a pivotal game 5. So now they go back to Florida. And Toronto Maple Leafs fans are so used to this type of a disaster. Last night at the rink, the crowd was furious with the Leafs, so much so that fans were throwing their jerseys onto the ice at the end of the game. Those sweaters cost real money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Giving up throwing their
it's like
jerseys
$200 right there.
over the glass and down onto the ice.
Well, they probably figured they're not coming back for a Game 7.
Probably not.
Okay, when I found the Kirby Puckett bar on eBay, there were 0 bids, and it was at $12.99. There are now 10 bids, and it's up to $28.
I love it.
Nobody wants you to win that thing.
No. I think I'm going to tap out,
No, keep going.
I love this.
You got to have this candy bar, dude. I told you I'd split it with you.
My God.
I love that people are making you work for this stuff.
Yeah, they are.
I've got your Taco Bell info.
Okay.
It's a ultra marathon, 50 miles. You got to run 50 miles, and you have to stop at 10 Taco Bell locations.
Yeah.
You have to eat a menu item from 9 out of those 10 Taco Bell stops. And they also say, like, by the 4th stop, you have to eat a certain particular menu items as well. There's a whole lot of rules on this.
You got to have something to eat at 9 out of the 10 stops.
Right.
Because that other one, the one missing there.
That's what you're unloading.
Yeah.
The other one, I feel sorry for the workers because they're going to have to go in and clean up the restroom after you leave.
Take a wild guess what you're doing with that spare visit to Taco Bell. Yeah.
They even have this at rule number 11. No on-course Pepto, Alka-Seltzer, Pepsid AC, Mylanta allowed.
Oh, my God.
There
How
are
do they
some
test
side
you for that?
challenges, too, because some people think it's not difficult enough. So one of them is you have to drink 2 liters of the Mountain Dew Baja Blast during your run. And then another one is that with every taco or menu item you eat, you have to put a packet of the hot and spicy Diablo sauce on every single food item.
And you have to take a shot of it at the very end.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
The Diablo challenge.
Oh, my gosh.
This sounds like a great way to develop irritable bowel syndrome and an irregular heartbeat on the same day.
It's in Denver, October 4th, if you're interested.
You'll be running with your knees knocking against each other. Trying to hold it in.
Just shuffling the last 100 yards.
Gosh, that would hurt.
Actually, did you guys watch Family Guy over the weekend?
No.
Yes.
You did? So
Yep.
that's how Chris Griffin realized he could be a speed walker, is he had to go number 2.
Yes.
And he had perfect form because he was pinching so it wouldn't come out.
He was such a douche about that.
Yeah. And then Peter realized, oh, my God, my son's an athlete.
That is friggin' brilliant.
They wanted him to lose weight, and they were trying to find a sport, and it just so happened that he had a code brown, and they realized he could be a speed walker. But you're right, Ashley. He became a jerk about it. He was very arrogant.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, do I know that walk. I know that gait. But I got to tell you, although I have much more experience than the average human being when it comes to the code brown type of thing, that was my life up until about 10, 12 years ago when things finally straightened themselves out. I got to give credit to my twin brother. One afternoon when we were kids, we had corn on the cob for dinner. Along with, I don't know, probably a steak or something. And then my brother and I decided to go skateboarding.
Oh, my God.
And I watched my brother do that pinch, Josh, while on a skateboard.
Impressive.
And I don't think I've ever seen that level of athleticism since. He made it all the way home, too. He made it on a skateboard, on a bumpy sidewalk, all the way home with a code brown. Ask him about that. All right. Let's cut to the chase. There's a couple other things. The Frost, the local ladies hockey club, the Frost, won in overtime over Toronto. So now they wait for the final. They'll play the winner of the Ottawa-Montreal series for the whole schmear.
Trying to keep Minnesota to the outside. Taylor Heisey with the shot. She scores! Minnesota Magic in overtime. The reigning Walter Cup champions are heading back to the PWHL final.
So there you go. Let's take these last few minutes here. Last night, like I said yesterday, last night was one of the most irritating days of the year. It was the day that the NFL coughed up the upcoming season schedule. And folks just cannot keep it in their pants when this happens, which is just so silly to me.
Oh, my God.
I find humor in the silliness of it all.
The Vikings will play 7 what they call here marquee games this season.
Yep.
2 early morning kickoffs overseas. We talked about that. And I guess beyond that, 5 additional primetime games.
Yep.
Okay? They start the season on Monday Night Football. Then they got a Sunday night game and a Thursday night, Thursday. So that's the deal there. NFL fans, Vikings fans are whacking off over the idea that coming up this season, the Vikings, led by completely unproven and injury-prone starting quarterback J.J. McCarthy, will play a ball game against overrated assbag and McCarthy's former college football coach Jim Harbaugh, who currently calls plays for the Los Angeles Chargers. That'll be one of those. That'll be one of those marquee games.
Yep, it's a Thursday night game.
Anything else you boys want to say about the release of the Vikings schedule?
Obviously there's a lot of intriguing matchups across the board in the NFL, period. But the fact that the Vikings are going to play back-to-back games overseas is interesting because that's never been done before.
Right.
I love the fact that they open against the Bears. I think that's great on a Monday night so that you're not fighting to watch other games on the opening weekend. For Viking fans, you can at least focus in on that, and football fans in general, because the opening, it always feels like it's a little overwhelming opening weekend when football's finally back. And for a Viking fan, you don't have to worry about that. You can wait till Monday and concentrate on that. So they play the Lions on Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day, Josh! I can picture it right now. I can picture the two of us.
That's crazy. That's going to be fun. I saw where the Vikings win total over/under is 8.5 wins. They're such a good football team. I don't know how you can't take the over in that.
It comes down to the quarterback.
Is it because their quarterback is unproven and injury prone?
I get it. It comes down to quarterback. But that number, it's just so low because factor out the quarterback for 1 second and look across the board at that team. They've got so much talent. I mean, I don't know. To me, that number is way too low.
All right. Well, I did read they had like the 4th or 5th toughest schedule in the entire league.
They do. Oh, they do.
Yeah, they got to play Baltimore and they got to play Pittsburgh and
the Commanders, and they've got a tough schedule.
Commodores. Sure. This is funny. A Michigan State fan obviously has texted into the program, and it's not Medical Device Jesus. It's a different Michigan State football fan who has a question. Has J.J. McCarthy ever played a game without stealing the other team's signals?
Oh, my God.
That's great. That's funny. The Vikings. This was very... Yeah, who was that?
I was going to say, quick update on the Kirby Puckett Bar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm now the highest bidder. It's at 15 bids. I'm the highest bidder at $40.
Dude, what is that?
And the listener also pointed out, too, that Kirby Puckett Bars, that's old news. There's also on eBay from 1989 Kirby Puckett Pancake Batter Mix. It's going for $30 right now.
I've never heard of that.
Let's go for both.
Yeah. Let's just have a feast one morning.
Let's go for both.
Like the batter connection? I get it.
Yeah.
Pancake batter. Is Kirby on the label?
Yeah. Big state of Minnesota, him slugging a fastball and says, Kirby Puckett Pancakes, a great batter mix. Made by Homestead Mills.
I'll tell you what. I can't cook. But I think even I could put together something. If you're highest bidder on both that candy bar and that pancake batter, I'll put together something for all of us.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, you like the sound of that? Add some pasta in there or something, John?
That candy bar owner, if he's not a listener of the show, has got to be wondering what in the heck happened this morning.
I shouldn't have opened my big dumb mouth because now all of a sudden there's a few more bids and it's up to $46 for this candy bar.
This is a beautiful thing. Now, we got to get going here in a minute, but real quick, I wanted to mention one more thing about the Vikings and the NFL releasing their schedule for the upcoming season. The Vikings and our own man-bear pigs were taunted by the Los Angeles Chargers. You know how every team puts together some stupid hype video for their schedule release? You following that? Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think they're cute.
They're dumb. The L.A. Chargers hype video for their schedule release was formatted to look like the popular video game Minecraft, okay?
Yep.
Some of you might know what that looks like. I don't, but they formatted it to look like the video game Minecraft. In the segment, a Minecraft version of Justin Jefferson blows into the Gallahorn, and then a video game Kevin O'Conrad enters the room, a video game version of Kelvin O'Conrad. And in the room, there are banners hanging. One of the banners is green and red, the colors of the Man-Bear Pigs, and the banner says, 8-time quarterfinal runner-up.
It just feels unnecessary.
That's pretty good.
Taking a shot at the local NHL team.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And there's also a purple Vikings banner hanging that says, best record among wild card teams. Now, that's funny.
That is good.
Oh, my God.
That's
really
making
good.
a silly schedule release hype video worthwhile.
That's good.
All right, boys. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to take it very easy on ourselves tomorrow because it's Friday. Dana is going to keep updating us on where we stand with this eBay Kirby Puckett candy bar.
I just messaged the seller and said, if you're wondering why this candy, because it doesn't look like he's local. So I said, if you're wondering why this is blowing up all of a sudden, I kind of explained the bit that's happening right now.
There's some baseball dork living in Ohio or something.
Yeah, like he's also sold some Pete Rose bars recently, it looks like. So.
His cell phone is just buzzing right now. He has no idea why.
Box tossing Jesus thinks we should get him on the air.
That would be fun.
Try to get a hold of the guy.
Yeah, I will.
I'd love to talk to the guy on the radio. Thanks, Randy and Brad.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Go ahead and put our text message machine to the test. Get off eBay just for a minute. Put our text message machine to the test. 651-989-9393. Text in if you have a question about your pet. Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital will answer your text questions next on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well. If it isn't our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania.
It is Haley Carania. I'm excited to be here because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Truth Social. Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I tried to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. Love all my homies that I get to scroll with. If you want to listen, Nightly Scroll with Haley is where you can find me. Just search that up and I will be there. We've got to spread the word far and wide.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's Dr. Andrea.
Here to save you about $5,000 and answer your pet questions. It's Dr. Andrea.
On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Come on now. We're back. Thanks for listening to the program here. Our next guest is willing to help you out if you have a concern about your pet. Just text your question to the telephone number 651-989-9393. Welcome to the show once again from German Animal Hospital, Dr. Andrea Johnston. Hello, Dr. Andrea.
Hi. Good morning.
We're happy to have you back.
Thanks.
Dr. Andrea's segment is sponsored by Daisy Carpet Cleaning. Thanks to those folks.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
You're
thanks.
big time now.
Love it.
Good to have you back, Dr. Andrea. You've heard some stories in your career, I'm sure you have, from customers, clients, whatever the proper term is. We had this conversation earlier, and we were looking for your take on it. The most destructive pet that you've ever heard about, like a cat or a dog that cut loose and wrecked everything when nobody was looking. Yeah. I know it's difficult right here on the spot, but it's a conversation. We all traded stories of mass pet destruction. Listeners texted in some stories.
Yeah. I think about actually my girlfriend's dog. She called me one day and was like, my dog jumped on the counter, grabbed a Pyrex glass brownie tray, pulled it out of the sink. It shattered on the floor, and the dog proceeded to continue to lick the Pyrex.
Oh, no.
So it cut its tongue, and then it proceeded to run all over the house panting and shaking its head. That it jumped on beds and walls, and so they walked in and it looked like a murder scene.
It looked like the Manson family had broken into the home.
They actually had to have like a company come in and clean up all the blood. And they said it looks actually worse than what
Josh
a murder
knows
scene
those people.
I'm meeting with them tomorrow. Scene clean.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the same type of folks who clean up after a murder.
Yeah, they said it actually looked worse than what a murder looks like.
Oh, and their mouths bleed a lot.
Yeah, and
too.
it was panting for like hours across the beds and the walls and shaking its head. And
That is pretty. That's a pretty unique story. It is. Oh, my goodness.
How was the dog?
Fine. She dropped it off for a few hours because she couldn't even handle it. She's like, I can't even look at this dog right now. Can I drop it off at the clinic?
Did you have to give the dog stitches? Or?
No. The mouth heals so fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like biting your tongue 100 times.
Now, I'm not going to blame this texter because it happens all the time. This person texted and said, I just got a DUI and was wondering what kind of advice the doctor would give. Yeah, this would be a great question for our lawyer, Ryan Pasiga, who's in sometimes. Or tomorrow we're having the Minnesota State Patrol, and maybe they can help you out there, too.
There you go.
Not my territory.
651-989-9393 if you have a question for Dr. Andrea, and as usual, many of them have already piled in. I'm trying to get a few opinions here, says a listener. We're waiting to get our lab/blue healer fixed until after she goes through her first heat. We're waiting because she has a hidden vulva Is a hidden vulva something that can be naturally fixed after the first heat? I'm trying to avoid a several $1,000 surgery.
Yeah, that's very common. We call it a recessed vulva or a hooded vulva. Sometimes after they're spayed, it can change, but a lot of times after they get older and they gain weight, it gets worse. But you can have a vulvoplasty and have it fixed, which is expensive.
Why would you want to? Is that a bad thing?
It predisposes them to urinary tract infections.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I see them a lot, and they're not a problem, but some dogs have chronic UTIs from it.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, I would wait it out and see what happens.
I had never heard of that before.
Wait it out, she says.
Yeah.
A couple people have essentially this very similar question. Oh, no, now I lost one. Here we go. Can you ask if it's okay for my Labradoodle, they said 100, I'm assuming 100-pound, to take Benadryl? His allergy meds are very expensive. And then somebody else wanted to know, can you give your dog human painkillers like Tylenol, et cetera?
So no to the human painkillers, just because they don't tolerate it like we do, and it can cause some liver issues and GI issues. So no. People come in a lot and be like, I've been giving Tylenol, and it's not safe. In terms of allergy meds, you'd have to give a boatload of Benadryl to maybe even see like 25% effectiveness. So it just doesn't work really well. Over-the-counter antihistamines just don't really work for dogs and cats.
So that's why it's so expensive, the stuff they're getting. $180, they said.
God dang.
Wow. Yeah.
Dr. Andrea, what are your thoughts on folks who remove a dog's well, not folks, but the process of removing a dog's voice box, removing a dog's barker? Is that still a thing? A listener wants to know.
No. I mean, we don't do that anymore. I mean, it was done like probably 30, 40 years ago.
Oh, I thought
20 years ago.
I thought maybe it had gone away, but I didn't think it was that long ago.
No, it's not a thing really anymore. It's kind of inhumane.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do.
I had heard about it in past years. Dr. Andrea says, 20, 30, 40 years ago is the last time something like that was done. I'd heard about it. I wasn't entirely sure. Boy, I tell you what, when my dachshund was a puppy, I considered it if it would have been an option.
What about
he grew out of it.
Bark collars?
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. Bark collars, I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Bark, protect the house,
Mhm.
bark against strangers, and then you're putting this like shock collar on them to inhibit them, and then they get paranoid if they make any noise.
Right.
It's not for every dog.
Oh, this reminds me. I did have a question for you. Is there a way to get, say you have a really whiny dog, and they're not whining because anything's wrong. They're just whining for the heck of it. Is there a good way to get them to stop doing that constantly?
Get a time machine and go back to when you first got the dog, because you've obviously spoiled that dog.
Oh my gosh, I've got my Brittany. He will not stop
they're vocal.
whining.
They are known to be vocal.
It's been like a week and a half straight now out of absolutely nowhere, and he just will not knock it off. And I'm going insane.
It might. I mean, it could be the upcoming baby too. They sense those hormone changes and get anxious. And
I've been
nervous.
whining.
That's what
a
I
little
was
bit.
thinking.
By the way,
heard me whine around your pregnancy.
Josh gets a little. By the way, back to shock collars. If we had a keg party some night, Dr. Andrea, would you play the shock collar game with
Sure.
it? Yeah. All right.
Sounds like a blast.
I've got two shock collars. we can use.
It'll get you.
Yeah,
I've shocked myself many times, and it is not fun.
By accident, I'm
Yeah,
assuming?
you're holding the collar to go get the mail or whatever.
That's a terrible feeling.
You crank that thing up to 100, it'll put your hair
an
up.
invisible fence, one of your dogs? Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Yeah. One of my older daughter's friends, I put a shock collar on my dog because we were having a birthday party and he
Okay.
was eating all the pizza. And we put the shock collar on him just to keep him off the counter. And one of my daughter's friends came in, grabbed the shock collar remote, and thought it was a walkie-talkie.
Oh no!
So she cranked it up and pressed the button and started talking into it, holding the button.
Oh, poor dog.
My daughter came running out like, Mom, the dog's shaking uncontrollably. Well,
Years ago,
Dog's wondering what the heck he did wrong.
Yeah, I'm behaving myself.
I bet you there's plenty of people who have made this mistake. But years ago, my wife, when she was still living with her folks, she was a kid. They had a poodle, and it had an invisible fence kind of a setup with the shock collar that would shock the dog if it crossed the property lines. Well, I think it was my wife who forgot to take the collar off the dog and drove the dog to the vet. And so as soon as they pulled out the driveway, and they got beyond the property line, this dog is bouncing off the ceiling of the vehicle, and my wife had no idea why until it dawned on her, oh, my God, I left the shock collar on the...
We're getting a couple people asking about clipping ears. Is that inhumane?
It's all vanity, right? Aesthetics. Some breed standards, if they're showing the dog, they want the ears cropped.
This person says they have a pit bull with it.
We don't do them anymore. It's not the most humane thing to do.
Something
pit
else.
Bulls do that typically? Oh, they do. Okay.
Well, some people will do it with pit bulls, but it's less common these days.
Something else that's gone away. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a thing of the past.
It's fading out in a way.
We're speaking with Dr. Andrea Johnston, veterinarian from Gurman Animal Hospital. Our number is 651-989-9393 if you have a question. Here's a listener who says, I'm sure my cat has ear mites. What can I do about that? Oh, see, I can answer this. You don't need a pro to answer. You pick them out and you eat them like a monkey.
Oh, why?
Like if your cat
I knew you
has-
were going to say something like that.
What's your professional thoughts on ear mites?
Go to your vet and get some Revolution. It's a topical treatment you put on the cat.
Okay.
And do, obviously we recommend monthly for that, but do a few treatments of it.
Oh, I'm sure the cats love that.
Can you see the ear mites?
Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see them under the microscope. It's kind of fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But kind of gross? Yeah. But you're used to gross stuff. Yeah.
That stuff's kind of fun.
Sure, you look at under a microscope. The little bug looks like he's the size of a house. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to save. I bet Nick would like to eat this like a monkey.
Yeah, like the parent monkey does to the little baby monkey.
Joe said dogs are so happy when they hang their heads out of a car window. It's like giving them crack. But is that bad for their corneas? Because you see older dogs getting cataracts. Is
Really?
that something that contributes to it?
No. Cataracts is in the eye. If anything, it could cause like a corneal issue if something flies at the eye, but let them do it.
Yeah.
That's what they live for.
I'd
my
never
dogs
heard of
love
that.
it. Well,
Yeah.
our cars get just caked in drool, though.
Yeah.
So much drool.
Oh, I bet.
They love sticking their heads.
Those back windows are just a spit farm.
It's terrible.
I'm dog sitting for my uncle this weekend, says a listener. What can I do to help the dogs feel more comfortable at my house?
Oh, that's so kind.
Yeah. I would just do your best imitation of your uncle and see if the dogs fall for it.
I don't know. Do something fun with them. Take them for a long walk.
I mean, wouldn't you say, like, bring their favorite blanket or
Yeah,
something?
bring all this stuff from home.
Yeah.
Maybe some like treat balls that they can lick some peanut butter. And yeah,
What if he wore his uncle's clothing?
it's an option.
Or skin.
He's wearing his cologne. And
D&D Jesus said...
Skin is a mask.
Is this? I don't know if they're messing with me or not. D&D Jesus said his dog is going through a false pregnancy. How long will it last, and what can I do to speed it up or treat it? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they
Okay.
gotta work through it. It's unfortunate, but
Can you explain that?
Yeah, so they actually they think they're pregnant, so they start to nest. They can get depressed. They'll bury their bedding and all those things. A lot of times they'll go off food because they're just like really stressed and not eat.
How does that happen?
The best girl in the whole world, my old Springer Spaniel, Megan Marie, went through that twice.
Really?
It's so sad
Yeah.
to see them go through that, but they get through it. It can take a good month to 6 weeks to get them.
Yeah, she was all down in the dumps, and she knew she was the best girl in the whole world. I told her over and over, but she
That's so
wasn't herself.
sad.
Just
I just
hormonal.
watched a video of that, yesterday actually, and they brought the mom that was going through that little baby puppies, and they actually nursed off of her. So is that possible for them to produce
Yeah,
too?
they can produce at the same time.
That's what
Crazy.
Megan Marie did.
Yeah.
She was just down there for a couple of. It was all hormonal, Ashley.
She just
you don't
wanted to be a
understand these
mommy.
things. It's hormonal things. All right, I think we got time for. Can Dr. Andrea tell us about the pills you can give your dog so their pee doesn't destroy your lawn?
We've tried those.
I would be a billionaire if I had something to get dogs to stop eating poop and staining the grass.
Yeah.
You know what helped us? If you hose it down right afterwards.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh.
There are
That
some
stopped
products you can like powders you can put over it too, but hosing it down is really the best way, or training your dog to go on like the mulch. But it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks if that's the case. Yeah.
But there is a pill available. You just
There
you're not
is. It
you're not
doesn't
crazy
work.
about it.
No.
Not at all.
I get it. I get it. We got to take a break. We're welcoming more questions at 651-989-90. What is it, Josh?
651-989-9393.
If you have something you'd like to ask Dr. Andrea Johnston, we'll return here in a few minutes. And Dana, can you give us an update on the Kirby Puckett bar and everything?
It's up to $70 now.
You got to be kidding.
And it started at what?
The opening bid was $12.99.
You know, there is a conspiracy theory here, and I'm upset with myself I didn't consider it.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that believe you are trying to sell this, and you've been inflating the price.
Oh, that would have been brilliant. I wish I would have thought of that.
If you're just tuning in, we were talking about Kirby Puckett earlier. Dana found a 30-some-year-old Kirby Puckett candy bar on sale on eBay. And it was at $12-some when we started talking about it. Listeners wanting to ruin your day and outbid you have now pushed it to $70-some for a damn candy bar.
32 different bids, too.
That is so funny.
I love every second of this.
It's Dr. Andrea
on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we're back with Dr. Andrea Johnston from Gurman Animal Hospital. Thank you to our listening audience for your text questions. We're going to try and blow through a few more before we got to pull the plug on this operation. Earlier on, we were talking about how some dogs go through a false pregnancy. Here's a listener who says, was the false pregnancy dog just saying that to keep her man around? Because I'm pretty sure I saw similar stories on Jerry Springer. This is an interesting question. I rescued a raccoon, a listener says.
Yikes.
Whose mother was hit by a car 2 years ago. If I take him to the vet in Minnesota, will they take him away from me?
I don't know many vets that want to handle raccoons, but it sounds like it's pretty domesticated. There are some wildlife vets or exotic vets in the area that will deal with pets like that.
Wow.
There is an animal rehab facility in Roseville. She could call and ask.
Wow. Rescued a raccoon.
I
2
don't know
years
how I feel about a raccoon coming into the clinic.
That wouldn't be something I would line up for. I would put on a leather jacket and some hockey gloves, I think.
The dogs would go nuts.
Oh, dude. All right, so, give that a shot.
I would call the animal rehab in Roseville.
That's an interesting pet to have.
Have you ever seen a raccoon smoke a meth pipe?
Oh.
Definitely not.
There's a video on 93x.com where you can see that.
I'll have to look it up. Yep.
A lady's pet raccoon smoked a meth pipe, and the cops took it away and said, hey, you can't smoke meth. And then the raccoon said, no problem, and grabbed another meth pipe.
Yeah.
And started to smoke.
It's not right.
I got my backup
Definitely
meth
not
pipe.
right.
That's not right.
That's pretty bad.
Trash Panda.
Iron Fist Jesus said, 17-year-old cat is wobbly, falls over constantly, can't balance, has trouble getting up. Is it old age or did she have a stroke?
I'd worry about that. I'd worry about a stroke. Check those kidney values because they regulate blood pressure. And if the kidneys aren't functioning, the cat could have had a stroke. I'd get that cat checked out.
Not a question, more of a comment here from a listener. My dog has a kink in his neck about once a year. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see. Hilarious, 10 out of 10. You know anything about a dog with a kink in its neck?
I mean, neck pain. They can have like a disc in their neck, or they can get like a sore, like muscular issue. But
Are they walking around?
Does it walk around? If it's like a head tilt, that's more neurologic than a kink in the neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, get back to us here if you can. What's going on? You didn't give away any other details. He says it's a lot of laughs when his dog gets a kink in its neck once a year. I don't know.
I'm sure the dog is loving it. They're just pointing and laughing at him.
If it's walking around with a tilted head, that would concern you.
That's more so a head tilt.
Okay,
Yeah, like a neurologic issue or a vestibular thing in the middle ear.
Brains are coming out of his ears or something like that, yeah.
Here's a question on oral care. Can I rely on dental chews to clean my dog's teeth, or do I still need to brush them periodically?
Brush them still. And probably professionally clean sometimes. It depends on the breed and how bad the teeth are. But those dental chews do work really well.
Is that about the toughest thing a dog owner can do? Is try to brush your damn dog's teeth?
Some dogs don't tolerate it.
Or trim their nails.
Yeah, the nails, I was going to say.
Some will fight you to the death, others will not. I remember once trying to get into the toothbrushing thing, and the dog loved the taste of that toothpaste so much, they just won't stop licking at it. Like, hang on a second with the tongue. I'm trying to. It's
because you're
difficult.
not supposed to use regular toothpaste.
No.
Fluoride is toxic, so it's all like chicken flavored,
Right.
beef flavored.
Right. And the dog just thought it was a party that we were having as opposed to me trying to, perform a task. Another interesting question. The wife adopted a husky corgi mix.
Ooh.
Okay. The mom.
What?
A husky corgi
That's
mix.
I
need to see what that looks
like.
like.
Not a dog.
It's called a horgie.
Yes. The mom was a husky. So how is that possible without Dad standing on a phone book?
They are so
You wouldn't
cute.
believe it. The things, I mean, unless they did insemination.
Sure.
But they can get pretty crafty.
Yeah, they're very resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what, Josh? Life, you go ahead.
Finds a way.
It finds a way. That's right. A husky corgi mix, that does sound very original to me.
Backdoor slamming Walleye Jesus said his dad's dog got porcupine quills in the face a week ago. The vet bill was going to be $900. They can't afford it. They got about a quarter of them out, and the dog has figured out how to eat, but still has them in. Will they fall out on their own?
My God, does that sound miserable?
Or are we risking health issues?
Yeah, those are buggers because they are barbed. So a lot of times if you just try and pull them out, they'll be like residual left. I have seen those porcupine quills migrate from the face through the esophagus into a kidney. So a lot of times you need to sedate the dog and pluck them out because they can be a problem.
Dude, that sounds so miserable.
It's painful.
Yeah. I would panic and then panic some more.
Yeah.
If, that
I'd
happened
have
to
a breakdown.
You want to hear about original pets, unique pets again, like we talked about the raccoon. Here's a guy texted in that says his buddy has a lot of acreage. He saved a baby deer 3 years ago. It's now full grown and sleeps in the house.
Oh, cute.
Wow.
God.
What?
Dang.
That sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome, but don't you think that one day that deer is going to kick your brains in while you're asleep because it's wondering, what happened to me? How did I get here?
I mean, I've seen 75-pound dogs break legs from a deer kick. You know, like a buck, if they fight it in the backyard.
Right.
They are strong. Yeah, wow.
Getting a few questions on dew claws. I know you brought this up before. Do you think, which I just learned about not too long ago because our most recent dog came without them. What do you think about getting rid of those?
So the only time, if they're not removed like 3-4 days after birth, leave them alone unless they're flappy. Unless they're just like flopping on the dog, then typically I remove them at the time of the spay or neuter. But otherwise, leave them on.
My brother's dog has very flappy ones, and he's a very, very active dog. And every time I see him, it makes me nervous because I feel like they're going to get ripped off one day.
Those are easy to remove when they're flappy.
Oh, it's gross looking, too.
We had a dog with skin tags. That was pretty gross.
Oh, yeah.
Those are fun to remove, too.
When you go to pet them, you feel them. And
One of them ripped off once, and it looked like a bloodbath. It was pretty bad.
Well, my first on-air partner was covered in skin tags.
That's true. And he'd wear a necklace. It'd be like slaloming through them.
Wow. Not on people. Dogs I'm okay with.
I hated that. Why are you putting on that gold necklace? It gets hung up on your skin tags, dude.
So gross.
He was a weird guy.
He was weird. How about a question about a fish? I have a male beta fish in a 6-gallon tank. I want to get him a shrimp friend. Any idea?
Wow.
Any idea which shrimp I could buy that has the best chance at not being eaten by the fish? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, those beta fish can get pretty nasty.
Are they
can eat
mean?
Each other, and honestly, shrimp bring in different type of bacteria. It could cause that fish to die. I mean, I have 2 frogs at home, and one of them just died, and I think it was just because there was just weird bacteria in the tank.
A shrimp.
I want to get him a shrimp pal.
Why a shrimp? Why?
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Leave your male beta fish alone in the tank. He doesn't want any friggin' friends.
Right.
Just get him some new furniture.
Oh, wow. All right. We got to go. But we appreciate your visit, Dr. Andrea. You always do a wonderful job. We appreciate the folks at Daisy Carpet Cleaning for sponsoring your segment.
Yeah, thanks.
And go out and have a wonderful day, Dr. Andrea. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good, thanks.
Thank you.
Hoping Big Pepperoni Jesus has a great trip to Germany. She's going there for a week, Nick. A week she's going to go spend in Germany.
A week in Germany, she says. Okay.
Hi, Mom and Brady, she also said. Shout out to bisexual folder operator Jesus, headed out for the first camping trip of the season. With
Going
the
to
puppy.
Germany?
Didn't say.
Not camping
Maybe.
in Germany?
Best of luck to Calves. Only a coworker would love Jesus. His mama is having surgery today. Hope that goes well. Good luck to Tattoo Trucker Jesus having major dental surgery this afternoon, and he's not a fan of the dentist. So I'd imagine not fun. Looking forward to that. Happy birthday, number 41, to Jackie, who kicked cancer's ass from Dad Gasman Jesus. And happy belated birthday to No Hawk Welder Jesus from Pipe Delivering Dad Bod Jesus.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Well, if it isn't our wonderful podcast listener, the ones that all of us on hams love the most. Dana here to give you a little gentle reminder to hit up our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and tune up that AC before it fully turns into crotch soup season. June through August are Standard's busy season for getting AC units up to snuff, so get ahead of the curve and have them ensure you don't have a summer where you pit out every shirt you own. Book in May during their pre-summer heat savings event, and you'll beat the rush and save yourself some walking around money. Call Standard Heating today or visit standardheating.com. Enjoy the show. We sincerely appreciate you checking us out each and every day.